This is
Good
the
day.
Real Bad Newscast. Oh wait, sorry, wrong thing.
Yeah, it is the wrong thing, goddammit. Because we're not even casting, we're streaming. It'd be the Real Bad News stream. Oh. Well, ladies and gentlemen. Wait, go on?
Nothing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is Saturday! And by God, is it hot. I mean, it's... The AC is on 74, and I'm still sweating. You gotta love summer in the ye old
Maybe
land
not
of
the
Texas.
fever.
No, I don't think I have that.
The cure is more Cabo.
It's ridiculously hot.
Something like it hot.
Not
like
too
it
many. Unless they're assholes.
It's not hot here.
Yeah, but you're in, like, liberal... I mean, wonderful Northwestern Territories.
Who, me?
No, I was talking to Rage. Because he said it wasn't hot. Also, as you can hear, Rain has been replaced by a new actor. The original actor, you know, he wanted more money, and, well, we just had to part ways. Now, you know what? Somebody's going to think that's true. I guarantee you, somebody's going to think I'm telling the truth on that.
Maybe it is.
Yeah, they never know. I actually had a friend who moved on from Windows 7 to Windows 10. Sounded completely different. I have no idea why.
Different drivers. Maybe the software update wasn't to the computer.
And
wow, man, Windows, it will change your DNA.
Hey, you know, that's one of the big problems with cyberware. It's like you get an update to like your brain implant, and like you have a completely different personality. Wow, I just got completely eradicated.
I just took up knitting. Yeah, it's a new update.
It's a new knit update. Well, Windows 10 evidently now has the ability to play Xbox games, so there's that.
Well, some of the Xbox games, yeah.
Because I noticed that showed up, and I guess that's okay, but I just don't know. And hello, Steve McDonald, or let's say McDonald. God damn it! I remember this part from when I played this on the Xbox version. This is insanely difficult. I did not mean to hit multiplayer.
Yeah, they kind of throw you into the grinder on this one.
I'm not a big fan of strawberry. I like lemon more than anything else.
And hey, Jirok.
It's like we've remade Rain into like a generic Call of Duty. God damn it, game.
I would say I've been upgraded, but I don't know if that's an upgrade.
That's what they did to that one Cyberpunk game, but I can't remember what it's called at the moment. Syndicate, there we go. That game's actually not that bad. If they didn't call it, you know, Syndicate, it might actually have gone over a little better.
Oh, it was better than what Microsoft did to Shadowrun.
Yeah, I remember that. Like, they turned it into some kind of weird multiplayer game that no one liked, and I think it did have a decent multiplayer following, but not for very long.
It had a decent multiplayer for 1 week. And I'm not kidding, literally 1 week. They basically said, oh, we'll do crossplay. And then Microsoft quickly realized, oh wait, the PC players are curb stomping everyone with an Xbox.
I think Elder Scrolls Online tried that and failed miserably. Crap. Fucking grenades. Now, since you've actually played Shadowrun, Rain, how much cyberware do you need to become a cyber psycho?
There's really not cyber psychosis in Shadowrun. Instead, you have docking to your karma, which is your XP, and you really can't, the more cyberware you have, the less you can use magic.
Okay, so like if you were to have like a one-to-one thing for Star Wars, the more cybernetics you have, I guess that's why Vader isn't particularly powerful later on. Because he's
no, Vader's actually still very powerful. It's just that you gotta understand, there's a scale of force. He's powerful by episode 4, 5, and 6 standards, and he's pretty powerful in the prequels. He's not this overblown, you know, we're throwing around starships level of powerful.
Because one of the things I was going to do in my original fanfic was have a bunch of cyberware, you know, brain implant. You know, basically imagine what Prophet had in Crisis 3. Something along those lines. It's like, how would that affect the Force?
It really doesn't, the D20 rules. I mean, cybernetics aren't really a augmentation. They're more of, yeah, I just lost a limb and I need something. You can get certain augmetics in the rule set, but they're really mostly prosthesis more than augmetics.
That's kind of weird about Star Wars, is that they don't really have, you know, like, cybernetic enhancement, even though they really should, just because of the technology level that they have.
Well, they sort of do, but it was never implemented fully in the case of Vader because, well, Emperor Palpatine wanted him PO'd at all times, so he went with the cheapest possible stuff he could. Mm.
Well, one of the essential guides actually mentions, I mentioned this in the Rogue Squadron 2 review. I don't think anyone really got it, just because how many people read the essential guide to, the second essential guide to weapons and armor. In that, it's mentioned that Vader is basically addicted to Sith heroin. Palpatine did that so he would constantly have control over him because he had to keep giving him this chemical, which is actually pretty clever, that you would think other Sith would actually do. Hungover and dying.
He was both addicted as well as the fact that he's in constant pain.
Nope.
Any time Palpatine could just push the button and have, 20,000 volts right up his backside.
Ouch. And let's see. Hello, Epic Jason, and hungover and dying. Is Quake 4 as good as you remember? Yes, it is. And hello, TechStorm, and recently used my eBay bucks to purchase Star Fox on SNES. That couldn't be cheap, especially these days.
It's not cheap, but it's not terribly expensive. That being said, this is weird, and I don't recommend you do this to the original cart. You can actually get yourself a replacement reproduction cartridge shell. You can change out the clock crystal in it and overclock it.
Really?
Yeah, you can. As the chip in it is literally just a frame buffer. That's all it is. So it's controlled by the clock crystal. You can actually overclock it slightly. You're not going to get the 30 frames per second. You'll get it up to about 19.
19 whole frames. Here, take my nail gun, Tech. Even though technically you have no tools. It's like he has to fix it, so now I can actually use the sight, even though it was not really attached, but whatever. Well, that's the kind of interesting thing about Stroyant in this game, in that, it's like, there's these giant, like, stomach creatures that somehow make it, that how would they make enough for an entire planet, but it's one of those things where it's cool, it looks kind of like something that Todd McFarlane would come up with, and just don't question it too much. Just assume Space Satan.
So today I learned you can buy overclocked cartridges.
Sort of. You kind of have to do the work yourself.
Welcome.
Looks like there's a few people selling reproductions that are overclocked.
Welcome to the future. Hey, get out of the way. That armor is extraordinarily detailed for 2005.
Overclock it too much. It's like burning plastic.
Yeah, don't watch how much you overclock. Don't try to go crazy with it.
Extreme speed!
If you want extreme speed, get an emulator.
Yeah.
I don't know, is there a way to play Star Fox in like 30 FPS?
Not reliably. It's gonna crash.
Okay. What's the speed it normally goes at? Because I don't remember being that slow.
Its speed is like close to... It'll dip, but usually around 15 frames a second.
Which for the Super Nintendo, that's actually pretty good. The Super Nintendo is a lot more powerful than I think people give it credit for, because like, it did run a version of Doom that wasn't that horrible. Especially...
Like I say, the Super FX chips aren't special chips, they're just frame buffers. That's all they are.
And the fact that it was able to run Doom as well as it did...
with music.
Did you see that Raspberry Pi thing they did where they turned it like an NES cart and then they were like passing through like I think Doom 2016 through it? Just the video part, yeah.
They're essentially they're just using the video chip of the NES, none of the other hardware of the NES being used.
Also, that's fucking metal.
Cool cheat though.
So wait, the SNES can run Doom 2016? Oh my god!
No, it wasn't the SNES, it was regular NES.
Actually, if you can get it to run on a Raspberry Pi, yeah, I could probably work with Michelle and we could probably design a pinout for it where we would just use the main video processor as opposed to everything else. It wouldn't be fun to play, but we could do it.
That still sounds utterly insane. I just be wondering, like, what could run Quake 2 that didn't have a Quake 2 port on it for it?
Technically, any system that can display at least 256 colors and essentially is addressed most of the data through its video signal processing chip, you could do it with. It's going to look like butt. You could do it.
So it'd be like Doom 3 on Voodoo.
Substantially worse. Remember, you're working from 60 million plus colors down to 256 at once. Yeah. And I say at once because that's the Super NES's limits. In Sega Genesis, you can only get about 56 colors on screen without using hold and modify.
And Techstorm asks, Rain, which do you prefer, Shadowrun, the tabletop, or Cyberpunk, the tabletop?
Well, they're not entirely tabletops unless you're talking advanced battle control, i.e. you're doing more ROLL style role playing as opposed to ROLE. I kind of like both, but if I gotta choose, sorry FOSSA fans, I'm a Mike Pondsmith guy. I gotta go with Cyberpunk. I absolutely love Shadowrun. I will preach till the day I die, but I'm also a huge Mike Pondsmith. I've got to give the guy his due.
Like, what are like the differences even between the two, other than the magic?
Well, there is no magic in Cyberpunk. There is magic in Shadowrun by the plenty, but mostly the difference comes down to the geopolitical and the fact that magic has returned.
Yeah, I guess since you don't have like dragons flying around in Cyberpunk, that would make. See, like, Cyberpunk, I think, is significantly less popular though than Shadowrun.
Oh, it's a lot less popular. I mean, up until CD Projekt Red really announced it, nobody knew who Mike Pondsmith was unless you were one of the hardcore. You know, you hit the comic book shop or work a comic book shop every week kind of guys. I mean, it's.
So I guess kind of like the difference between BattleTech and Warhammer 40k then.
Closer to like BattleTech and Heavy Gear, but yeah, I get you.
Yeah, because I haven't even heard of Heavy Gear. I don't even know what the hell that is.
Heavy Gear was a mech tabletop game and a couple of good video games. The last one was a pain in the butt. But yeah, Heavy Gear, basically smaller scale mechs, which kind of were used for both war and for sport. And I don't mean strictly gladiatorial sport. There are some gears that were used for racing.
Like a version of mech football.
Think of it more like Wipeout on the PlayStation, just with mechs and weapons.
That actually sounds pretty awesome. And hello, Melvis. News. I'm talking to the guy. Oh, you got the V-Wing finally. That's good. Dreamcast could possibly play Quake 2, and of course the the DS did play Quake 2. I actually got that to work on there. Have I ever?
Yeah, the Dreamcast could do it. It wouldn't have to be optimized, but Dreamcast could do it. DS will do it. God, there's no DS to my right that has it on there.
Yeah, I got it to work on there for a little while, but then the RAM card died, which was pretty annoying.
Well, that's okay. Our 4 carts are cheap. You can get another one for like $15 shipped.
Oh, that's significantly less expensive than what they used to be, at least from what I remember. Crap. I always hated those missile guys.
Quake 2 actually runs pretty well on the original Xbox if you hack your Xbox.
I also know that Alien vs. Predator, the first, well, Classic 2000 we'll call it, since there already is another, there's multiple AVP 1s. The Classic 2000 version also runs on there, as far as I know, because I've read that a while back.
Yeah, I can get a camera, I can show it playing on my PVM. It runs pretty well. Although I still got to Still have to configure the controls to play as a xenomorph because I haven't done that yet.
There's also a Quake 2 port for the Wii. Oh, there's also a Quake 2 port for the Wii homebrew.
Yes,
really?
And it actually works really good.
You make me want to spend too much time trying to get an old game to work because I kind of want to see what that would play like with Wii controls.
Pretty enjoyable. Not quite as good as what Half-Life mods with the Wiimote did, but pretty good.
Ugh, Half-Life.
Half-Life 2 mods. You don't have to go with the Half-Life 2 campaign.
Let's see. I have played Neverwinter Nights. Let me read the thing. Why? Anybody want to make a railgun? How are nails better than bullets? They're cooler. And not much is going on, Omgle Dude, just streaming. My PC specs are actually on the About portion of the main channel page. DSi? I would imagine you could. There's a port for that.
Yeah, the DSi will run. You can get an R4 cart for the DSi, and there's plenty of ports of certain games.
Yeah, that was pretty good too. There's Marine. Well, you should try playing the Predator campaign. That's pretty good. The Xeno campaign isn't bad, but the biggest problem with the Xeno campaign is it's very easy to get turned around and there's no map. And unless you really know the level, you're going to be wandering around for a while. In fact, there was one level I could never actually finish in... it was one of the bonus missions in AVP 1.
Man, I hope that Predator game comes to PC.
Yeah, but it's just going to be like... There's a competitive multiplayer thing, though.
It's like Friday 13th, only you're a Predator.
Oh, that's what they meant by that. That's not going to be on PC?
Just PS4, last I read.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding.
No, remember, it's Disney that owns the Predator now.
That means I'm gonna have to buy a fucking PS4, aren't I?
The Predator's a Disney princess.
You know...
The Predator is the best Disney princess.
Yes.
If ever I was gonna go to Disney World, I would want to go to the Predator experience. Obviously that doesn't exist, but it would be awesome if it did.
Coming soon, the Alien experience.
Hey, there was something in like the UK that was like that was like that.
Sadly, we won't get the Predator experience because the Star Wars experience is bombing bad.
I saw some videos to that respect. Okay, there we go. I'm used to playing Jedi Knight 1 now, so I keep wanting to hit F and just force jump up here. Jedi Knight 1 is way better than you'd think. I mean, yeah, it looks really primitive in terms of graphics, but goddamn is that gameplay good. Or well.
Most of the Jedi Knight games are great.
I mean, that was real Star Wars.
I think Predator Hunting Grounds is being done by the same developers.
As Friday the 13th?
I believe so.
That would be like the
or
greatest
it could be the
thing.
same publisher. Hold on, let me check.
Oh yeah, I did hear about those earthquakes in California. Ugh, that's not fun.
California.
Yeah, Alex called at like 3 a.m. It's like, yeah, I gotta get out of town. It's shaking.
Yeah, here's hoping it's not the big one. Yeah, of course, California has a wide variety of problems, but we don't really want it washed away by, you know, the Pacific. That'd be bad. Let's see here. Casino campaigns, least favorite. Yeah, they're generally not as good, at least in my opinion. GoldenEye again, if we're watching it.
If you're gonna do GoldenEye again, Project 64 on PC with the keyboard and mouse ejector. It's awesome.
There's an ejector for that?
Yeah.
Why am I always the last to know these things?
I'm gonna have to wrap up a package for you so you can play it that way. Perfect Dark with mouse and keyboard is pretty good too.
Yeah, it's Ilphonic, and Sony is the publisher, so...
Oh god, that's not gonna end well, dude. Ilphonic... the last quote-unquote good thing Ilphonic did was killed. It was essentially Squadron 42 for Star Citizen.
Yeah, Gun Media is the developer of Friday. So Ilphonic was the publisher, and they were one of the reasons why the patches and stuff weren't really fixing stuff, or they were being blamed for it, the way they handled the game.
Wonderful.
I believe it. Ilphonic is pretty irresponsible with how they do their work.
How wonderful indeed. Well, I guess we'll never get another good Predator game.
It might be okay, as long as they don't, you know, laden it with, like, DLC stuff.
That's like saying...
upgrade to the new Predator disc? Just pay.
You know that's probably what's going to happen.
Honestly, they just need to talk to Rebellion again.
I remember for a while Rebellion was supposed to work on another AVP game, but I don't know. It might fall through, I guess.
I want them to make a, you know, a good Judge Dredd game, but that's going to be a while in the making.
I believe Sega isn't publishing the Alien license anymore. I think Fox is doing it for the game division.
Yeah, Fox got it. Essentially, Fox ended Sega's contract, which we're not getting another Isolation that's worth a damn.
Well,
we're getting mobile ports.
Because, as you know, we need more mobile ports, because why would we not? It's like a mobile version of Commander Keen that no one really wants or cares about.
That's not Commander Keen. That's something wearing Commander Keen's skin.
Oh, I guess I must not have updated the PC specs. And Jedi Knight, I don't know if I'd say Jedi Knight is Star Wars Quake or Star Wars Quake 2. I'm not really sure which one would apply. Because I can't remember if Quake 2 came out in 98 or 97. Because Jedi Knight looks kind of like the Quake 2 engine, but isn't. It's actually, I think, the Jedi engine.
Yeah, it's its own specific engine.
But it definitely has better graphics than Quake 1 did. Quake 1s were very chunky.
Well, in June there was some kind of tease about possible Isolation sequel, so who knows?
I remember these conveyor belts being very confusing. It's one of those things where it'd be kind of...
Maybe Fox Games will be a better publisher than what Sega was.
Well, Sega wasn't that bad. It just was like, they had to deal with, you know, Randy Pitchford. And, yeah. That was more...
Yeah, Sega's biggest problem as a publisher is the same problem, like I said, with Randy Pitchford and Creative Assembly. They don't put their foot down nearly enough.
And Alien Isolation really was a breath of fresh air.
You gotta try the VR mod sometime.
Oh no, it's just too many games, too little time.
As Fatburgers, the conquered aliens which make up the Strogue are mostly the higher command, such as Macron.
Did you ever try that fan-made Lego alien game that had like lamps?
Yeah, I never could get that to work though.
Oh.
It just would never actually launch for whatever reason. It was one of those weird browser. Oh, it wanted me to use Java, and I never actually downloaded the Java for this thing, just because, yeah.
Oh, well, probably because maybe Waterfox didn't have it included or something, but like every other browser, I think does. I don't know.
No, Java has to be updated. It is partially included, but that's only the small runtime. That's not the full environment.
Yeah, I haven't downloaded Java in God.
And Sean, technically yes, technically no. Sega, number one, Sammy is not just a slot machine. Sammy has been in the arcade business for a long time. I mean, Sammy, especially American Sammy, has been in business since the early 1980s. They've been around for a while. Sega, as you know it, from the 80s till now, never operated alone. They were their own business, they were their own company, but they were also working with other companies.
And also, I gotta make a joke. This is, of course, the Movie Bob cameo for the video. So no one's gonna get the joke.
Jim Sterling.
I think Movie Bob is actually much worse than Jim Sterling.
Hard to tell these days.
Okay, now you gotta do something specific here, and I never can remember what it is. Because he can actually hit you faster than you think. Yeah, because he's shooting out his little tentacle there.
I was gonna say, it'd be cool if they made an Aliens Killing Floor 2 mod.
There's not one for Killing Floor 2, but there's one for Killing Floor 1, which is good.
Yeah, I know.
Why does Movie Blob want me to die?
I remember playing Killing Floor
male?
1 with just the Marines and playing other campaigns with it.
No, Movie Blob wants you to die because he's hungry. Somebody forgot to feed him this morning.
They just take away his feeding tube. Oh yeah, here. No, I was gonna say, oh yeah, here. Okay, wait a minute. That floor wasn't that far away. Okay, I mean, come on. Was Matthew Caine made out of, like, tin foil? Jim Sterling. You know, I actually watched a little bit of his stuff, and it wasn't really that amazing. Crap. Okay, I think I have to, like, hide behind the pillars, maybe? I don't remember exactly how... It's something easy, I know that. It's one of those things, Latter-day Raven was much... I don't know who actually developed... who the developers were of Jedi Knight 1, but it definitely feels like somebody there moved on to Raven, just because some of that level design in Jedi Knight 1, it is utterly ridiculous. Like, you gotta move an elevator, and then underneath the elevator, there is a thing you have to cut open with your lightsaber. But how would you... Why would you ever think to look underneath the elevator? Buying the Supreme Commander series. I think I played one Supreme Commander game, and I don't think it was that bad.
The Supreme Commander is actually quite good. Not quite as good as, you know, playing multiplayer Total Annihilation with mods, but pretty good.
But then again, I only played it like for like a couple weeks, really. Never really got into it that much. See, that's the one thing. This game was not afraid to be hardcore. And this is hardcore without, like... The problem with modern games never really do a hard R kind of thing like this. Because, like, look at that. It's literally somebody's desiccated torso being used as a power supply, okay? You would not see that today. Instead, they kind of try to replicate stuff like this by just saying fucking shit all the time. That's about it, you know.
You still kind of get it from games like Bloodborne, but that's about it.
Yeah, but that's...
indie games.
God damn it. Fucking Movie Blob. What's your problem?
I used to joke that ever since the physics engine came to be, the Gibbs of stuff.
Jibs, or Gibbs, depending on how you pronounce it, because it's like GIF and GIF, nobody knows. Really, you're sort of right, because they got to show off that, you know, Havoc physics, but also they don't want to calculate, you know, bits and chunks here and there, because that's more that you have to calculate. It's far easier just to say, okay, here's a hard cap on render limit, this is how much we'll have available within view, and that's it.
Well, we gotta feed him all that sweet, sweet coffee. So that's what happens if you go to Starbucks too much. Now, Nostalgia Critic's never been an SJW. He made some jabs at conservatives, but that alone doesn't make him an SJW. Yeah, I did notice that. I can't believe I still remember this after all these years. But he kind of said that the Romulans were Republicans, even though that's not really true. I mean, yeah, it is the Romulan Republic, but they're not exactly all about the individual liberty thing there, now are they? I think it's how they...
No, it's... Sterling is, if anything else, a total scumbag. First, foremost, without any other questions, he doesn't care about anything other than he wants his right to speak. He wants everyone else to not have that right, and he's willing to dox, to lie, to make a horrible grift just to get that.
Which I find kind of hilarious to a degree, just because, like, they tried to do that to him, and you'd think he would have kind of learned from that, but evidently not.
Oh, and Spattenberger's, yeah, Nostalgia Critic is a massive SJW.
He is? God damn it.
Sorry, I'm not gonna lie. He's not anti-free speech, but that doesn't mean that everything else he stands on is not SJW. He's pretty scummy.
Did you not read the change of channel document?
I didn't read it all the way through just because I didn't really care.
The amount of non-SJWs that were part of Channel Awesome I can count on one hand.
Once again, I'm glad I did not actually get picked up by them, just because that would have probably ended very poorly. By which I mean I would have been ignored and then... No, I'd been marginalized, ignored, and then would have just kind of left.
Well, they would have tried to manipulate you, make no mistake. Then they would have tried to ostracize you and ruin you.
Well, life is hard enough as it is without somebody trying to actively take me down, so yeah. Probably dodged all the bullets there. And, yeah, that guy with the glasses, or Channel Awesome, whichever way you want to call it, has always been a little scummy here and there. Like, with some of those crossovers making some of the various content creators look really bad. So, eh. An arcade game I like to see, I have no idea. Killer Shark from 1972. I'd imagine MAME could play that.
Wait a minute. I have to look that up. I think that's an electromechanical, in which case there's no real emulating electromechanical games.
Yeah, that might be a problem. My god, that must make that game positively ancient then. Let's see. Yeah, the NC had some good well, okay. He had good content for the time. I always will say that when websites like that guy with the glasses, Cinemassacre and stuff like that came about, the reason why they got so popular was because they were these big name people, but they seemed like normal people. They seemed like real people. You know, it's kind of like watching you know, creating these different, you know, media things. Also, we got zombies. We got cyborg zombies that, of course, have an endless amount of vomit because, science.
Okay, Killer Shark is actually an electromechanical, but here's the thing. There is technically a flash game of it.
Now, that's interesting. I've never actually even seen it. I don't think I've even really watched. Also, Zombie with a Shotgun. That needs to be a movie. They killed him. Now he's going to re-kill them. Zombie with a shotgun.
So, a zombie getting revenge. I mean, I don't know.
Well, there is the Sega game, Sega arcade game, Zombie Revenge.
There's only a gazillion zombie movies. Maybe that idea's been done. My
favorite zombie movie will always be Return of the Living Dead 3. Just because that has got to be one of the better written trashy movies there ever were. I mean, Twilight wishes it was as good as that.
Can't disagree there.
Yeah,
so the first one.
It's trauma levels of good trash.
Zombie with a shotgun. I just love the fact that in this game, you know, you got the zombies, but they got shotguns, and they're cyborgs on top of that. I mean, you can't get much better than that.
It's like commie mutants from outer space. It's a great combo.
Yeah. Listing a favorite zombie movie is hard because there's a lot of good ones.
I don't know if I would really consider Resident Evil a zombie movie, though. Or really even a zombie...
It's more of an action movie. It's good, but it's an action movie.
It's a popcorn action movie that you shouldn't think too hard about.
You're all going to die down here.
The laser room makes no sense, but god damn it, does that seem fun? It's so cheesy though.
The only thing I didn't really like about... Now, the rest of the Resident Evil movies after 2 really have nothing to do with the games. I mean, it's like sort of
I was gonna say Marilyn Manson's score in that movie was pretty awesome too.
Yeah, he did a good job.
This game makes Ravenholm look trite by comparison. Yes, yes it does. Nazi zombies riding flying sharks. I think that's Red Snow or something.
Did you ever see the 90s Night of the Living Dead remake? Lotz?
I didn't even know there was one. Or maybe I have seen it and just don't remember.
George Romero wrote it and Tom Savini directed it. I think it's one of the few things Savini directed.
No, wait a minute. Is that the one that the Down with the Sickness one, or am I thinking of something else?
No, you're thinking of the Dawn of the Dead remake.
Okay. God.
The Night of the Living Dead remake came out in the 90s, and Barbara, instead of becoming a catatonic, becomes more of a badass character.
Now, wait a minute. Now, that's not Don...
Tony Todd's in it, he plays Ben.
Okay, then I have no idea.
Go watch it. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, because the
Is
only
it
one...
better than the original? Well, maybe not, but I'd say it's just good. If anything, it's like it's like if you see the original, this is like the choose your own adventure thing where they go on a different path with it, you know, which what a remake should do.
Oh god, I remember this part.
You, Barbara. You seen the original, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I haven't seen it in probably a decade. Yep, I knew it was gonna happen. Now,
Well, there's also an awful anniversary version where like a producer added new black and white scenes to it and changed the music, and it's so awful. There's like a subplot with a preacher. Yeah, avoid that one. And that was the first version I saw too.
Oh,
that sounds about right.
Night of the Living Dead's public domain, so anybody can do whatever they want with that movie or remake it as many times as they want. So yeah.
Honestly, I prefer the mall one more anyway.
Original or remake?
The original actually was a little bit better.
Original recipe or no?
extra crispy.
See, when we're talking about Kentucky Fried Chicken, it's the extra crispy, but when it comes to the movie, the original recipe is always the best.
Dawn of the Dead's another one of the things where I love them both, but for completely different reasons, because they're both nothing alike except the mall.
Yeah, but the second one does not have nearly as good characterization or pacing or, well, anything, but it has Down with the Sickness. That's about it. You know,
The lounge version
yeah, pretty much.
from Richard. And then yeah, Day of the Dead's also really good.
Yeah, I'm running this monkey farm, Frankenstein. But I want to know what the fuck you're doing with my time.
Well, someone's seen that one.
Yes.
Oh God!
Nobody remembers that. I just found that one. I just consider that kind of generic. I like the monkey farm one more.
But it's funny because those were, you know, real like animal guts, and they left them sitting out too long, so he was trying not to gag.
I didn't know that. Oh.
It's a real experience.
Oh. Yeah, see, Donna. Wait, no.
Day of the Dead.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of with the monkey farm one, and joke on them.
Yeah, they're in like an underground complex.
Okay, I can never keep the two straight.
Pretty much everybody's going insane in that movie. Like, there's no real good characters in it because they're all like been living underground too long.
Yeah, but it also had like
This
the
is what
intelligence.
happens when you don't see the sun.
Yeah.
Son, what's
That's probably
that?
what makes it great.
Natural light. No.
Not to mention Bub was like the cool one.
Yeah, I mean, he even learns how to like shoot a 1911 and like shoots the guy at the end. He like throws him a salute.
And they essentially took Bub and gave him his own movie in the 50s called Fido.
Fido. I've seen that like once and I thought it was okay.
I enjoyed it. You know what? I've only seen the pilot episode of Walking Dead and I just didn't watch any more episodes because I was like, you know, I've seen so many goddamn zombie movies. It's like I feel like I've reached my zombie movie quota. Like I just couldn't dedicate myself to watch TV series about zombies.
Oh, the comic's coming to an end next month.
And I've never seen it or read it just because I'm not a big fan of... For me, when it comes to the zombies, you know, you've got the mall Dawn of the Dead, you got the underground zombie thing. I'm good.
It's like yeah, Romero already did it. You know?
It's like they're not gonna
land, and then he just land of the dead, which was okay.
Now, is that the one where like they're living on this in this city and the zombies are becoming more intelligent? Yeah, I saw that. I thought it was pretty stupid, honestly, because it was more of a political thing. It's like, see, the poor people and the rich people. It's like, okay, you know,
well, all the movies have a political undertone to them.
Yeah, but that one just seemed a little less subtle.
Right. Well, because once you involve zombies, they just become nothing more than cannibalistic cavemen. That's kind of a cool name for a band.
Cannibalistic cavemen.
Cannibalistic corpse.
And then there's an Italian zombie movie called Zombie. Well, it's called Zombie 2 because Dawn of the Dead is called Zombie. You know, just from a V. That's the Italian version.
Z-O-M-B-I, yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a. It's supposed to be like an unofficial sequel, even though it'd actually be more of a prequel. But that aside, the movie's actually really good, and it's probably one of the few zombie movies where it's actually like a curse that brings them to life instead of, you know, well, usually they don't explain it or it's chemical or something.
Necromancers.
It also has zombie versus shark.
Shark.
Which is awesome. Mainly for the fact that, you know, it was made back in the day where they had to get a stunt person to interact with the shark.
No, that's not. Now, see, it's like risking your life for a crappy movie, just, yeah. It just seems like that's kind of a waste. Don't open the door, you idiot! He's trying to heal by eating a sack of, I don't even want to know what that is. Some movie blob fat.
It's not a crappy movie. Made by Lucio, I can't even say his name. Lucio Fucci, I think?
Lucio Fucci, yeah.
Known as the Godfather of Gore in Italy.
Yeah, because he's directed some pretty gribbly movies.
Some pretty weird shit, yeah.
It's one of those things, it's like, that's one of the problems I have with that Rocket Boy thing. It's just like, they're trying to ape a movie that's kind of weird, but they don't have the actual innate weirdness that you would actually need to actually be a weird movie.
Well, to be fair, a good weird movie is hard to come by. I mean, last one I can remember, I absolutely just said, okay, I enjoyed this film, every last thing about it, was Six String Samurai.
I know what that is just because I read the Wikipedia article.
If you get the chance, watch the movie. It's actually really good.
I would imagine, with as obscure as it is, you can probably find it on YouTube.
I don't know about that, but yeah, copies are common and cheap.
He's like, you can find some movies on YouTube.
Well, yeah, actually, for the first time in literally a decade, YouTube actually got their algorithm right with me and recommended me Over the Top last night.
When the hat goes around, I become a completely different person, or whatever that line was.
I analyzed the scanning circuits.
Jaws Unleashed. I don't actually have that game. I imagine I can emulate it, but I've just never actually played it. I was aware of it even back in the day. Strife, I've honestly don't have that much interest in that just because that's one of those roguelike things.
No, Strife isn't. Strafe is. Strife is essentially take Doom, add a layer of, you know, open world to it.
Oh yeah, Strife, not Strife, Strafe, whatever. Also, this goes to show you Raven Software's ability to actually make real characters. Because this is actually a really tragic character here. This is somewhat similar to what we saw in Doom 3 with Sergeant Kelly, but here, literally, he's been strapped into this machine, and he can't control himself. And yeah, I don't remember who commented that the music in this was pretty bad. Yeah, it is pretty bad. I mean, this is like the most generic shit imaginable. And this guy is really tough. That's why he killed me literally within like 10 seconds. But that's the one thing I always loved about Raven Software. Like, id Software would make really good games with like really good gameplay, level design, and things of that nature. But it was id Software, not Raven Software, that is, that always seemed to find a way to add character to the that id Software just never really did.
Should we go on with the zombie discussion, or do you want to talk about something else?
You can. For a while there, zombies just kind of like controlled everything. You know, you had Left 4 Dead. You had, you know, all these zombie games being released. Left 4 Dead, I think, it's pretty much the best zombie game ever released, though.
Well, you know why a lot of the zombie games got released as opposed to the other media. It's because zombie AI is really easy to program.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you ever see Night of the Comet?
I haven't seen that in ages.
Now,
That's pretty good too. I accidentally discovered it one day. I was like, huh, not bad.
my grandfather had a VHS tape of that, and I watched that all the time as a kid for some reason. What's kind of funny about that movie is the fact that it has Robert Beltran in it. For those who don't know, that's actually Chakotay from Star Trek Voyager. And he's just as wooden in that as he is in Voyager, as you would expect.
But still nowhere near as wooden as Mikey freaking Spock.
Well, yeah, like, if he was, it would literally be a, Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on! Aha! Only one try, actually. That boss is actually pretty difficult. The first time I tried to take him down on the Xbox version, it took something like 20 tries. I don't know if that's because of the Xbox controls or what, but goddamn, it was not easy. But yeah, Robert Beltran, you know, was pretty wooden right up until the chick playing Michael Burnham. I mean, my god, that... She actually is a little more annoying than just being wooden. It's like, she expects you to like her, even though she's like the most generic character and the most... She actually comes off less wooden and more smug. Which is actually worse.
Annoying. You want to know what? Wood can be very annoying. Best case example. You ever get a splinter right underneath your toenail?
I didn't have that, but I got a massive splinter on the heel of my foot once. That was not a fun thing to remove. Of that I can guarantee. Yeah, too bad Raven is dead.
There's a movie called Raiders of the Living Dead. Is there an arc in this?
Let's see, Dead Rising. You know, I got Dead Rising 1 for the Xbox, and I absolutely hated it.
Oh, man. I like the Dead Rising games.
I never liked them, just because I never could really figure out where to go in Dead Rising 1, and it was timed, and...
Right.
We gotta forget about saving everyone your first playthrough. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, see, that kind of annoyed me back in the day. I sadly no longer have it. It is kind of funny, though, how Dead Rising 1 had that disclaimer on it saying that this is not a ripoff of Dawn of the Dead.
No.
It really wasn't, other than the fact that it was set in a mall. The plot line was completely different.
So I'm looking at a
Dead Rising
Wikipedia.
is a horrible waste.
I'm looking at a Wikipedia list of zombie movies, and of course, you know, I don't think Deadly Friend is a zombie movie. No. Well, not in, yeah, maybe in a sense, I guess, but no. I mean, I can't say it without spoilers.
Oh yeah, now I remember what movie that is. You know,
someday we'll review that. Only because that movie gave me nightmares as a child.
Really?
Yeah, the twist at the very end is kind of dumb, but like it gave me nightmares as a small child.
And yes, Jacques, I am somewhat into horror. I'm not a massive horror fan. I'm a much bigger sci-fi fan than a horror fan, but I do like horror films. I was a big fan, and still am, of the classic Universal horror. Not so much slasher films, but like Universal horror, I was a big fan of and still am. Hammer horror, really big fan of that. Although I came to Hammer horror much later than I did Universal horror. But yeah, I could say I'm a horror fan.
Horror fan and trading, not kidding.
Let's see. Explosive red barrels. Hey, you know, they got gas cans are red. Capcom games. We want to play DMC. I need to play DMC as well at some point.
It's alright. As for Capcom reboots, I'm oddly liking the Strider reboot pretty well.
You know, there is a Dead Heat, which is about a police officer who comes back as a zombie.
Yeah, but if I'm going to watch that, I'm going to watch Maniac Cop.
It's not quite your zombie with a shotgun. Yeah, Maniac Cop's a better example.
Yeah, I remember Pandorum. That wasn't too bad. It was basically Event Horizon meets The Descent. More or less. It was bad.
The Dead Next Door is pretty fun.
The what?
The Dead Next Door.
Never heard of it.
No, it's an indie zombie film. I believe like Bruce Campbell even helped on it. He dubbed the voice of like 2 characters in it, and I think he helped editing. It was a Super 8 movie. It had some pretty good animatronic effects. I think the plot was like about a cult, you know, but there's like this group. They're called like the Zombie Squad, and you know they're like going around exterminating zombies kind of thing. It's fun.
Doesn't sound too bad. Also, we've got Robo Kane. Not the one.
89.
Not the one with the K though. More of a C, really.
Less reliant on drugs.
Shit, Kane really does look like a freaking strong.
That's enough.
You figure they'd give him a set of pants or a uniform, something to say, I'm not a stroke.
Yeah, or at least repaint him.
Yeah, Matthew Kane.
Serpent in the Rainbow, one of the few
Can he be trusted?
somewhat
Have given him a
accurate portrayals, I guess, like Voodoo, which I heard.
Honestly, I was listening to the game, so I thought you said, like, now she uses Ubuntu, and it's like, wait, the Linux distribution?
I was talking about the Serpent in the Rainbow. What's great in Voodoo Select with Bill Coolman, you know, the president in Independence Day.
Okay, yeah.
Or, you know, Spaceballs.
Fortunately, it's very well protected.
And Cherokee Kane never got the control chip in his head. It wasn't a matter of, oh, did they take it out? It was never there.
Data storage, networking, and
Beverly Hills Body Snatchers, okay.
Beverly Hills Body. That just sounds terrible. Pitch Black, I've seen that. I actually saw it back when it came out. I thought it was okay. The funny thing about...
Oh, man, I think that movie's great.
You most likely are
well, the biggest problem I have with the Dick Riddick movies is Dick Riddick is supposed to be this big bad anti-hero, but he's never anti-heroic enough. He's just a slightly more asshole regular hero, and yeah, he's supposed to be this big bad serial killer, but you don't really see him do any serial killing.
If you want that, you need to go ahead and play Escape from Dark Athena.
Well, like he's killing, like, what, other prisoners, corrupt guards, stuff like that, you know.
Well, it's a matter of how you play it. Generally, you can kill just about anybody, even the innocent prisoners.
Well, that's just a video game, though. I'm talking, like, do we see, you know, like, Dick Riddick...
Well, you wouldn't see it in the first Pitch Black movie.
Well, I guess the thing, when I think of serial killer, I think of somebody who, like, stalks somebody, you know, and...
When's the last time you seen Pitch Black?
That would probably be, like, 15 years ago?
It might be time to revisit it.
Okay. The last Dick Riddick movie I've seen would be just Riddick.
I still haven't seen that one yet. The last one I saw would be Chronicles, which... I enjoyed, though. I always say that it just feels like Riddick one day walked onto a set of a completely different sci-fi movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, it does have its moments.
I could agree with that. When it comes to Riddick, it's actually not that bad. It actually feels kind of like a late 90s movie, though. And that you can kind of tell it's kind of low budget. You got like some of the more low-budgeted TV show actors. It's not bad, though.
He like mortgaged his house to make that movie.
Then yeah, it kind of shows.
Well, it paid off. I mean, hell, he's doing great right now.
Yeah.
Because he is Groot.
Yeah, he replaced The Rock with John Cena for the future Fast and Furious movies.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Did they not get along or something?
Yeah, they freaking hate each other. the last Fast and Furious movie, they both refused to be in the same scenes together, so they had to stitch together, you know, filming them different angles to put them in scenes together.
I don't know why, but I find this hilarious. It's like, he's not as tough
And
as
so
me.
like, and so the studio's like, well, you know, like, well, fuck you guys, you know, The Rock makes a lot of money, so we're gonna do a spin-off film with him and Jason Statham, and probably make a few sequels for that, you know. You continue with your Fast and Furious franchise.
Speaking of The Rock, Jumanji 3 actually looks pretty good with The Rock playing Danny DeVito, of all things. Because I really like the joke in the trailer where he does like the steely-eyed stare, and oh, what? I can't remember his name now. The guy from Predator 2. You know, the Predator 2 guy. What is his name? He was also Lethal Weapon.
Oh, Danny Glover.
Yeah, and the Danny Glover's character's like...
Sorry, I was reading and kind of listening to you. I was like, oh, wait.
Yeah, I couldn't remember his name. But like, yeah, he's like, he's having a heart attack. Breathe.
Kevin Hart doing Danny Glover impersonation, yeah.
Yeah. To play PS. I imagine there is actually a way to use a PlayStation controller. There's probably a USB adapter for that.
Yeah, you can actually. I've got one hooked up to this PC. Or you could use. I don't recommend it. You could use PlayStation Classic controllers as they work as X input devices.
But that would just be heretical.
Someday, Lotz, you'll probably have to watch Brain Dead, aka Dead Alive.
Yeah, but
from,
see that?
Peter Jackson.
See, here's the problem.
It's awesome.
Here's the problem, though. I have too good of a memory that'll get stuck in there, and I'll end up thinking about it at random points of the day.
And laughing.
Because, like, I still remember that. I still remember that scene.
The lawnmower is awesome.
Hmm.
Yes.
We'll just
What
have
else
to
are you
see.
gonna see a priest that goes, I kick ass for blood?
I know, but that's like one scene out of like what, a 90-minute movie, or a little bit less than that.
I mean, yeah, there is a zombie sex scene, but it's not graphic.
Yeah, maybe I'm overthinking it. You know, I used to. Oh dear. I used to see that at like the local movie rental. Because that cover really did stand out, that's for sure. The local movie rental. There goes my brain. That's what happens when I, you know, have no sleep.
Could be a Blockbuster, could be a Hollywood, could actually be a local chain.
Okay, I love this. So I'll look at this Wikipedia list, you know, there's one called ozone, so I put my mouse pointer near it, and it gives me the, you know, the Wikipedia definition of ozone. Oh god, I've seen that movie Ozone.
And drop pods for the Marine Corps in Quake are bricks. It's the only reason Bitterman survived.
So, what was the first zombie thing either one of y'all saw?
Night of the Living Dead. I actually managed to catch that on my dad's whole. It wasn't even VHS. It was Betamax.
Oh wow.
My.
Probably be Return of the Living Dead 1 or 2.
Let's see, that's kind of funny. My first zombie experience was inspired by Return of the Living Dead, and that was, of course, the Treehouse of Horror. I still remember this, even though I was like 5 at the time. Because for years afterward, I'd always remember Homer getting that lever-action shotgun. It was like, take this, Washington. Show's over, Shakespeare. And he smacks him with it. I fucking loved that. Oh yeah, he killed a zombie Flanders? He was a zombie? But that was my first ever zombie thing that I ever saw.
Looking back at it, my family was weird. I mean, we had a VHD player. Dad had purchased a Laserdisc player. And we had Betamax early.
Betamax. I actually saw a video on that. Evidently, Betamax didn't really look that amazing compared to VHS.
No, actually, it was better than VHS. It just, the problem was the runtime. You had longer runtime on VHS.
And I think there was also like something where like the various porn companies released more porn tapes with VHS than Beta.
Well, yeah, that's the reason why VHS won, is because Sony controlled Betamax, and Sony didn't want their name associated with the prawns.
How little they knew. And we've got the dark matter gun, which we're not going to waste on, you know, just some generics here. Also, in the future, you evidently can take a basic tube-fed shotgun and magically turn it into a mag-fed shotgun, because future. Crap.
Well, you can't do it on the fly, but Mossberg and Remington have kinda done it.
See, that's the big problem with, okay, I need to get something out a little more powerful than that. I think this is where the game expects you to use that dark matter gun, but I'm not going to waste it on these guys. No matter how many they send after me. But that's the big problem with shotguns, though. Those 12-gauge shells are just too huge. So, like, if you have, like, a 25-round mag, it, like, sticks out 2 foot. And weighs, like...
That's why I wish that we'd actually come up with rimless shotgun shells, and somebody would make, you know, the Sammy Specs open source.
No, I never thought about that. But yeah, shotgun shells are rimmed, aren't they?
And that's the main reason why you have to go with a drum mag for when it comes to mag-fed shotguns or tube-fed, because there's no other viable way to do it. You can't do a side-by-side double-stack magazine.
Yeah, I mean, it would be very difficult.
Let's switch to a genre that I'm not sure if
Biodome? My god, that's just...
Lotz, do you ever watch Westerns?
Not really.
Not the same.
If you gotta watch a Western, start out awesome. Watch John Wayne's McClintock.
So that's how you pronounce that.
See, I would have said, like, I don't know, like Sam Raimi's The Quick and the Dead.
That's also worth watching, but I'm gonna go with my favorite first because, of course, bias.
See, for me, the only 2 westerns I've really
Or
seen.
Tombstone.
I've actually seen that one when I was a kid. I've actually been to Tombstone.
It's because it's got Kurt Russell, Michael Biehn, Sam Elliott, Bill Paxton.
You know, I actually did go to Tombstone. The only thing I really
Val
remember
Kilmer,
about...
fuck. Sorry.
Yeah, he was in that as well.
I'm
You're
your
Huckleberry.
But the only thing I remember about Tombstone, because I was probably like 8 or 9, was they had a player piano, and I didn't know how loud that was going to be. It was pretty obnoxious, and it didn't stop.
Yeah, it's meant for a grand hall, so it's pretty damn loud.
It wasn't a grand hall. What's kind of funny about that is, I think it was like an ice cream shop or something, and they had that, and they were they weren't really blasting, but I could hear it, some rap music, and as a kid, I hated rap even more than I do today, or hip-hop, as they call it. So I was like, oh, we'll put some real music on. Can we have the rap back, please? Because that was at least quiet.
Clearly the most superior Western ever made was Wild Wild West.
You know, I did watch the original TV show. It used to come on like, it's like Channel 51, whatever network that was. That show holds up pretty well. But my favorite Western still is The Shootist. It's John Wayne's last Western, I think. Just, he did really well. All the various characters did quite good. And, young Ron Howard.
Does Back to the Future 3 count?
Only partially.
Oh my god, it's Feminist Frequency!
I thought Hateful Eight was pretty good.
Which I have not seen.
I heard Bo Tomahawk was really good, but I think I only got a chance to watch some of it, and I forgot to finish it.
They definitely
was okay. Wasn't that great.
The Unforgiven was another one that I've seen somewhat recently. I thought it was pretty good. course, just about anything with Clint Eastwood would actually be pretty good. Now, Stagecoach, if I'm not mistaken, that was the weird musical that had Clint Eastwood in it, actually singing, if I'm not mistaken. The only reason I know that exists is because of The Simpsons.
And on a more video-related note, I'm gonna have to be the contrarian here. I do not like what they did to the Iron Maidens in this game. I much prefer the Quake 2 design.
Well, the Quake 2 design wasn't bad, but I don't know, these, at least today, feel a lot like Cybernetic Eldar to me, almost. They do, of course, go down a lot easier. Oh my. They're a lot easier to kill, because, like, the original Iron Maidens actually had a rocket launcher on one arm, and I think they had a lot more health. At least from what I remember.
Oh yeah.
And they had the iron boobs. These two pieces of metal to cover the nipples.
Iron boobs.
Yeah, there's actually a secret area you can find where there's like this tank, not like an actual tank, an armored fighting vehicle, but a tank enemy, just chilling by a pool with two Iron Maidens just kind of chilling in a sexy pose. It's like, that is id Software, ladies and gentlemen. That was real gaming. But, oh well. I feel like you would not see something like that. Oh crap, save him! You would not see something like that today, sadly.
Well, you might, but it's not going to come from a AAA.
Yeah, that's true. You might see an indie do it. Because I'm sure if a AAA did that, they'd be like, that is sexist! They'd probably still say that Iron Maidens here are sexist.
Well, here's the thing. Most of the AAAs are censoring themselves for one market, and it ain't the US, it's China.
Oh.
China.
Wait, the wrestler? I thought she was dead.
Sadly, Jodie Lauer is dead.
Wait, she actually is?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm gonna guess heart problems, because I imagine she probably took some of the roids.
Roids?
Actually, she was clean of roids. The main thing, drug-wise, she took was somas, because, well, like Eddie Guerrero, she took some bumps.
No. When did she die, anyway?
She died about, God, what was it, like 2010?
Wow. Shows how clueless I am when it comes to wrestlers, that's for sure. Now, while I never really got into wrestling, I thought she was, like, really, really attractive back when I was, like, a teenager. I'm surprised that, like, how, like, that the Ultimate Warrior made it as long as he did. I think he died, like, in, what, 2012? Something like that?
Yeah. Right after his Hall of Fame speech.
Always found him to be quite entertaining. It's like, he finally loaded the spaceship with the rocket fuel. Loaded with the word. Yeah, you look back at, like, those spoony Ultimate Warrior comic reviews, and it's like, my god, what happened to you, man? You used to be funny.
And this is why you don't take politics seriously until you absolutely have to. You don't obsess over it. Worry about the things that matter.
Is that water or something more fancy? No, it's just water. Red Royal TIE Interceptor. Yeah, they look pretty cool, but for me, when it comes to Imperial spacecraft, it's always going to be the missile boat. And if you can actually mod... I'm actually going to mention the mods in the Empire at War review. There's a mod you can get. I forget exactly what it's called. It might be Absolute Corruption or something like that, but you can get the missile boats. In multiplayer, you can actually defeat your opponent within literally 30 seconds of the game starting if you just build a bunch of those and attack their undefended base. I know this, not because I did it, but because I had it done to me once. That was really quite aggravating. Oh, but I got my opponent back, alright. I built me a bunch of Techno-Union frigates, and yeah, those mass drivers hurt a lot.
Well, yeah, mass driver. I mean, it's meant to move material at ultrasonic speeds.
Well, you know how sci-fi goes. Because, like, Halo gets hit with that pretty bad, because, you know, you got the Mac cannons that never really do any damage to the Covenant shields, even though they should do a lot more damage than they actually do. But that's one of the things when it comes to balance. There's actually a really good Star Wars fanfic where Earth is actually in the unknown regions, and Thrawn has to fight Admiral Preston Cole. It was actually a really good fanfic that never was finished, but... Oh, crap. Yeah, I'm dead. Or not. I like how that one hit just goes completely through me. Yeah, the Rebs and those fighters. Those fighters, man. Now, what's kind of interesting about that one mod, the Absolute Corruption, assuming that's the right name.
What?
Absolute Corruption!
You know, like our government was before the last election.
Oh, yeah, that one. I don't know, maybe Tiberzon would do a better job. But, in that particular mod, you can actually get escort carriers for the Empire, and that was about the only way I was actually able to actually remain somewhat competitive against some of these people, because there are people who spend a lot of time playing Forces of Corruption, and I do not.
And Tech, if you're going to get Dawn of War, get the complete collection, and especially install Soulstorm, because that's what you're going to need for Ultimate Apocalypse. Soulstorm has the worst vanilla campaign, but it has Ultimate Apocalypse, so... You okay?
Yes.
Wrong pipe?
I think he inhaled water.
Yeah, sounds like wrong pipe.
That happened to be at work. Ugh.
I think they're always going in Lotz's wrong pipes.
That happened to me at work on Wednesday. Except I had a mouthful of water, and I barely was able to swallow it in time. Just barely. Well, that's a workout.
Lot swallows.
It beats launching Dr. Pepper at your nose.
Yeah, you know, I only have the Dawn of War triple pack or whatever it was called, platinum pack. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's all you need, because it contains Soulstorm.
No, it actually came out before Soulstorm was released.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that pack.
So I'm kind of screwed on that one, because I got
Not
into.
really, because like I say, you can find Dawn of War 1 on sale all the time.
It's just actually getting time to play the bloody thing. But I actually got Dawn of War and Forces of Corruption literally the same day. Because it was 2007 and I had just picked up my Gateway laptop. I had to save for like 2 months to get that bloody thing. Because I was working at a grocery store at the time making next to no money. But I finally had a bloody new computer after all that time. It's like, I can play the real games now! Let's see, is he gonna do something? You're not even gonna heal my arm? Well, you can't really heal armor. Yeah, screw you then. You don't even have a face. Asshole.
Face!
You know, they took that off of Netflix, unfortunately.
No!
Netflix.
Not face. Anything but face off!
Because,
Netflix was like, face off movie? Off now.
Actually, I would recommend buying a copy of Fire Warrior if you get a chance, just because Fire Warrior isn't that bad.
Peach. I can eat a peach for hours.
It's also not that good.
It's one of those games where it's interesting with what it's interesting in what they did, because it actually is more canonical than you'd think. It gets a lot of the little details right.
Well, the fact that Case actually is canon.
Well, it's not just that; it's the little attendant details, like with the Space Marine armor, the ships, and stuff like that. The level design isn't that amazing, but there are some areas that look pretty good, like when the Chaos Space Marines attack. Now, the book, which took me forever to find. In fact, there's this little bookstore that is still open, surprisingly enough. I found it at this bookstore that I had driven past, like, for a couple of years by that point. I was like, you know what? I bet I'm going to find it there. And you know what? I found it there. For, like, $4. At the time I wanted to read that book, if you wanted to buy a copy of Fire Warrior off of, say, Amazon, a used copy ran something like $30. $30!
Oh, man.
Well, it's Amazon.
Incredible. Would you look at all this?
The pricing on Amazon is nutty.
Yeah, like with some of the books, like I remember there was a copy of the Colonial Marines Technical Manual. That was something like $100 for a used library copy. So it was kind of ridiculous. And by kind of ridiculous, I mean super ridiculous.
That security interface at the top of this tower.
But sometimes you, well, not sometimes, but a lot of times you can find stuff for cheap, depending on what it is and if it's readily available. Like just today, I picked up a sling and some sling swivels. Ugh, try saying that multiple times fast. For like $30. So there's that with 2-day shipping. So it's just anything that's remotely vintage. Let's use the biggest air quotes imaginable there. You can expect to pay like a lot of money for some reason. I'm not really sure why though.
Because everybody on Amazon and a lot of the people on eBay think that old is gold.
Yeah. Recently played Saints Row 3. Eventually I need to play Saints Row 3 all the way all the way through, and I have played like half of Saints Row 4.
Maybe someday we can play through Saints Row 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, it's catching. You can't talk either.
I know, right? Bug going around.
I just need to update to the latest drivers. That's what passes for humor when I get no sleep.
Yeah, I suppose it would, as long as there's not heartbleed as part of that problem, updating to the newest drivers.
Well, you know, I'm going to go ahead and spoil the ending to that movie you mentioned earlier, Rage. I can't remember the name of it now. It's a horror movie where, like, this chick gets killed and her brain gets replaced with, like, an AI, and then she goes homicidal.
Oh my god! I didn't even know what the hell that movie was called for years. I don't even remember the very ending. I'm like, what the hell is that movie with that thing? I was like, the robot rips through the chick. I'm like, no, right.
There's a hilarious scene in that where the robo zombie throws a basketball at somebody's face, and the whole head.
Give a brief rundown on the plot. Genius kid has robot that sounds like a gremlin for some reason, and eventually robot gets destroyed, and hot neighbor girlfriend gets killed by abusive father. So Genius kid decides, hey, I'll take this chip, put it in this girl, and she'll come back to life, I guess. So she becomes, well, robo zombie chick.
And joins feminist frequency. I mean, does not.
The production, see, it's based off a book, but the production of the movie, I think Craven wanted to do more of like a lighthearted family film, and the studio was like, no, you have to make it an R-rated movie, so people will flock to see this because of your other hits. You know. Of course, Wes Craven only did Hills Have Eyes 2 because he needed, well, another movie. Yeah, that too. And that movie is so good. I mean, that the dog even has a flashback.
The dog has a... why am I not surprised?
It's so good that nobody even bothered to make a porn parody of that one.
Oh! No, the Hills Have Eyes sequel and the remake sequel, both those are just awful. The original and the remake are fine. Sequels, no. But you were going to spoil the ending, or talk about that stage. Oops.
Well, yeah, she needs to be updated to Windows 95. Maybe she won't be so homicidal then.
So she's facing off against the evil neighbor, played by the same actress who played Mama Fratelli. So am I going to explain this, Lotz?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
She throws a basketball at her head at such a velocity that her head explodes.
Just blows up. It's the most hilarious thing ever.
I'm just picturing that video of a bowling ball being thrown by a robot.
A robot. So yeah, the very end of the movie, spoilers, she's like dead and he goes, this could be interpreted as a dream or really happened kind of ending. But like he goes to the morgue to look at her body and then like this robot rips through her flesh. I don't know how that works. And she says some line like, stay with me or something, and then the movie ends. Yeah, I don't know, seeing that as a kid, for some reason, screwed me up, and I had these reoccurring nightmares. Only, instead of it, only the robot looked like this yellow piggy bank robot from like the 90s.
Oh god, the totally robots.
Yeah.
See, I don't get that. It's like, okay, I wouldn't it's like, all you gotta do, Rage, is just don't put a control chip into some chick's brain, and then they won't, you know, turn evil and try to attack you.
See,
Or pray pray that you have quarters on hand.
I think the only part of that movie I remember is the ending. And then for a while, for some reason, I was merging that ending with like chunks of chopping them all together in one movie.
Because
that's a strange combo.
Yeah. You know, stuff that you end up seeing chunks of on like basic cable back in the 90s.
you don't even have a face either, dude. So fuck off. I mean, I will help you. Instead, I'm just gonna shoot the thing there because that's totally not
Just
gonna
like Halloween, and ghouls will try to get in your pants.
The what?
That was the one Nick Cage is Travolta and he's talking to his daughter.
Oh.
After Hyde tries to get all touchy-feely with her.
Okay. I'm just gonna
You know,
not
Hyde
play.
from that 70s show.
Oh, okay. I get what you mean.
Yeah, that was the line he says. Just like Halloween, ghouls will try and get in your pants.
Roy Rogers. I didn't know that was a fast food chain. I've never even heard of it until literally today. That sounds like something that the History Channel would have had like a show on at some point, but I've never heard of it.
I'm sorry, this is Whataburger territory.
And here's hoping it does not get ruined by the new owners.
I doubt it will. It's a pretty simple operation to keep up and running.
It's like Whataburger here. That's like in some of the smaller areas. That's like a town hall almost.
So, Lotz, did you ever watch Brady Bunch reruns?
No. You gotta remember, if it wasn't sci-fi or action of some description, I had no interest in it. As a kid,
Did you ever watch the 90s comedy they did when they were pretty much mocking the show? Only
No.
just took place in the night. Oh.
it has to be sci-fi, fantasy, action, something like that. If it's... I just termed all of that human interest and did not care.
What about the Addams Family movies?
That never really appealed to me, so...
Okay, that's it. You gotta see those.
I know it
Raul
has...
Julia kicks ass in the Addams Family movies.
See, like, I didn't even know he was in it. I always remember Chris Lloyd was,
Christina Ricci played Wednesday, yeah.
guy. You know, the
If
guy...
You want to talk the ultimate male role model? Raul Julia plays it in those movies.
Huh. See, like, I didn't even...
Though I'd have to say the sequel was much better than the first one.
Addams Family Values, I think is what it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll dispute that, but I'll allow it because it's still pretty good.
Just like I think they did the Brady Bunch ones. I think the second one was a lot better than the first one. Though the first one was still pretty funny.
Also,
Basically, all they did was take the Bradys in the 60s and just put them in the 90s. So they're still exactly dressing the same, acting the same, just trying other people.
that being said, the Addams Family Pinball is also one of the best tables ever made.
Oh yeah, have you used the AC/DC pinball?
AC/DC Pinball is actually pretty good. The sound effects are great, the music's great. The gameplay is okay. It's not quite as fast as I'd like, but I'm a big fan of the designer Python Angelo, and I really wish he was given the rights to design the AC/DC Pinball table.
What is your opinion on AC/DC in general? Either one of you, or both of you?
They're freaking awesome, and I think I really discovered them when I watched, you know, a little movie about these vehicles that were killing people and stuff.
Best movie soundtrack ever.
Yeah, Maximum Overdrive, I think, is what made me into like a huge. I mean, I listened to them before, but I don't know. Just the fact that they did the entire soundtrack, it was just great.
Rain?
It's absolutely awesome. Very much a fan. And as I stated, best movie soundtrack ever.
See, I've watched Maximum Overdrive like many years after I knew who AC/DC was. My mother was, well, I keep saying was, she still is a fan of AC/DC, and the very first rock and roll album I ever listened to was their Ball Breaker album from 1990, whatever the fuck it was.
And to most, actually, the South Park pinball table is not bad. It's not, you know, I'm not going to rank it as my top 25 pinball tables, but it's certainly amongst my top 100.
And when it comes
and Epic Jason, that's actually in my top 5. I'd probably rank it like number 4 because it plays really, really well.
I've never actually played much pinball. The only pinball game I actually remember was the one time I played the Judge Dredd Pinball the movie thing.
It wasn't based on the movie, it was based on the comics.
Oh, well then that one.
And that actually is in my top 25. I would place that about 15.
So, since I don't really know what's a good pinball game and what's not, I just remember it being pretty good. Let's see. Weapons like the lightning gun force you to keep crosshair on the target are useless because they force you to stay out in the open.
Curtis, are you dead? Yarly Smith. She was also in another movie that, well, it could, let's see, something Lotz would say, like, it's the most 80th thing to ever 80 it. Oh my god, that's a hard sentence to say. To ever 80s it up. Which would be The Legend of Billie Jean with Helen Slater.
Legend of Billie Jean. And you pronounce my middle name Theophilus. Don't feel bad.
Christian Slater's also in it. I'm like, are they brother and sister? I'm like, oh, nope, they're not.
And I don't really... Was Christian Slater in anything I actually would have liked? Or was he in like a bunch of crap that I just never really cared about?
I don't know.
Like, was he like a drama actor or something? Because I know the name, but like...
He was in The Wizard.
Okay, so he was never in anything I cared about. That's why he's not... Doesn't ever really ring any bells. Let's see. Cartoons I enjoyed back in the day. Pretty much your basic 90s fare. You know, Superman, Batman, X-Men, Spider-Man, the animated series is. But there's one series that no one ever remembers because it did not sell the toys. And that is Captain Simeon and the Space Monkeys. I know it's a stupid title. I know it very well. Every time I tell anyone about that show, they think it's automatically supposed to be terrible. It's actually really quite good. The writing is excellent. The characters are quite good. And Captain Simeon himself is actually voiced by Jerry Doyle. The guy who played Garibaldi from Babylon 5.
Lotz, did you ever see Very Bad Things?
A
movie where, you know, it's like wedding's going on, they're having a bachelor party, they hire a hooker, she actually gets killed, and they have to like try and like hide the body and stuff. Using that, Christian Slater, Daniel Stern, Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, it's actually worth watching. It's quite good.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that until literally today. That sounds like it's a very dark comedy.
But it's done well.
Who directed it?
I believe, let me double check. I think it's the same guy who did like Iron Man.
Oh. Now, see, now that interests me even further, just because...
No, well, my bad, it's Peter Berg.
Oh.
But the guy who directed Iron Man is in it, though.
That's kind of weird, you know, like directors that start out as actors. It's like, oh yeah, he directed it and filmed it.
The director of Very Bad Things did Collateral with Cruise, Lone Survivor, Oh wait, that's producer credit. Ah, never mind. I should actually read the titles.
Let's see here. Lightning gun. Oh yeah, Ed, Ed and Eddie was quite good. I actually did watch that. Centipede and Leather Weapon. Never even heard of Leather. Oh, you mean Lethal Weapon? It's like Leather Weapon?
Leather Weapon?
Hey, that's what it
That
says!
sounds kinky.
Wow.
It was mistyped, to be fair, so it's not John's fault.
It's like, Leather Weapon? Wait, is that like the porn parody of Lethal Weapon?
Didn't you see that awful Uwe Boll film Alone in the Dark? I think he was in that.
Yeah, let's see, Epic Jason mentions that. Alone in the Dark, that is an interesting franchise. It's like every game and movie has nothing to do with the other.
Well, there's only 2 of the games that have anything to do with each other, and that's Alone in the Dark 1 and 2, and that's it.
Oh, he was also at I Discovered Country. He played the associate communication officer.
Oh yeah, now I remember that. Yeah, he basically plays the nepotism officer because, like, wasn't his mother like the casting director or something? It's like, can he meet Sulu? Yeah, now I remember him. Okay, now I know who you're talking about. Because he meets Sulu and says, like something. I don't remember. I'm sorry, my brain is tired.
In a movie for saying something.
You said something.
Hey, Corey, Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead.
You said something to him. I think it was like, crap.
You never watched too much Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. I actually saw that as a kid, so.
The first time I watched it, I'm like, this is Pulp Fiction? This is overrated. And then I watched it again, I don't know, for some reason it clicked, and I was like, oh.
It's kind of like watching The Big Lebowski. It's either you immediately get it, or it's going to take a couple of watchings.
The Big Lebowski is actually much better than one would think, just with how hyped it actually is.
Now, for some reason, randomly, I just want to watch Reservoir Dogs again.
I'm not sure if I've seen that.
It's time.
I'm not sure. I mean, I know I have seen From Dusk Till Dawn, which was actually quite good.
Yeah, but that's Rodriguez. I don't think you've used in Desperado yet, have you?
I'm not sure, honestly.
This looks to be the hub control room.
It's just one of those problems, like, I've seen so many films, they all kind of run together now.
Here's the thing. Before you watch Desperado, I generally recommend try to watch El Mariachi first.
Right. Oh, hell. Watch El Mariachi and then, like, read about the production of that movie.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good story, learning about what happened and the complications.
But if you watch El Mariachi, you have to watch the Spanish version with the English subtitles. It just makes it better.
And
Well,
original
the overdub ain't exactly great.
And then Once Upon a Time in Mexico is, well, absolutely a batshit insane movie. That you would have to watch more than once because there's like so many fucking characters in that movie.
You know, I think I know.
No.
I think I have
Johnny
a
Depp is the best character in that movie.
Okay, then I don't know what you're talking about. For some reason, when I think of some of those movies, I think like, wasn't there like a movie where somebody had like a gun built into a guitar case or something?
That would be Desperado.
Okay, so I'm not utterly insane, at least in that
Salma
regard.
Hayek is in it.
I don't really find her as attractive as a lot of people do. I mean, she's okay, but
Oh my god.
I mean, she's okay.
I'm gonna pretend like I didn't hear that.
What? I'm just saying, you know.
Everybody's got different tastes.
First, Scary Jersey guy confuses her for Catherine Zeta-Jones, and then you're saying she's not.
Hey,
What
some
world am
people
I
that
living
make an
in?
impact.
Uh,
We are living in clown world.
I mean, she's okay. I'm just saying, you know.
I mean, she's still hot, especially in like Everly. That movie was fun as hell.
My standards are very.
Yeah,
specific.
you like chicks with boobs as big as mountains.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not even going to deny that. I mean, yeah, I mean... But there are a few that I can, you know, overlook that. But, yeah, Selma Hayek, she's okay. She's alright. perfectly adequate. Let's just say that.
She's also a pretty good actress in what she does.
Let me see. When it comes to actresses of a non-adult nature, I suppose the one that I'd find the most attractive would be Kate Beckinsale. So yeah.
96 era Halle Berry.
I always felt she was too skinny.
96 she wasn't. Earlier she was.
Halle Berry's not bad.
It's like
She's also still hot, man. I don't know. She looks great for her age, however old she is.
repair the tram rail.
Also, Halle Berry is awesome because she did that hot wing show, and she actually polished up all the wings without water or milk.
What?
Yeah.
Hot wings? What is that?
There's like a talk show. I should the name of it, but like they interview like
First Week East.
Yeah, they interview celebrities, and the whole thing is they eat wings that are like mild, and more hot, until it's like really hot.
Okay, see.
And Gordon Ramsay was a bitch when he appeared on it.
It's because Gordon Ramsay's a Brit. He's not used to spice.
I know, but it was still.
Well, see, since
I can hear the spirit of my ex-girlfriend, who's still very alive. She's not dead. Don't even think of that. I can hear her screaming at me right now.
See, when you said polish the wings, I was like, wait a minute, polishing like what? It's like an airplane? I had no, because I was like, I'm like paying attention to you and the game, and all I hear is polishing the wings without water or milk. I'm like, why would you polish aircraft wings with milk? It's like,
wow,
something here isn't right.
One of these things is not like the other.
It's like, that's gonna smell pretty bad once it gets hot. You know, I mean, it's like, I'm not a big fan of spicy stuff either, so I'm not even a big fan of wings. I feel like they're a waste of money. If I'm gonna eat like something really unhealthy, just give me like actual chicken, like wings, thighs, breast. I gotta say, you know, in addition to their aesthetic qualities, chicken breasts are also quite good. I've actually become a bigger fan of those in recent years than either thighs or legs.
Fry them up, spice them up, and they're good.
So I guess back to random hot celebrity.
It's like, you know, let's just hope feminist frequency. Oh wait, they're out of business. Never mind.
No, they're not completely dead yet.
Oh,
they're broke, but they're not completely dead.
God damn it.
Jennifer Love Hewitt was, you know, pretty hot back in her prime.
Everybody liked her, and I didn't. So yeah.
Oh, you gotta watch Heartbreakers with her and Sigourney Weaver. They play like a mother-daughter con artist. And
no, like Sigourney Weaver, she's hot.
Yeah, you should watch that movie. They're both like really hot in that movie. It's
Your wife is Indian, eh? I can imagine that must be the spice just must be.
And like Gene Hackman's also in it, and like they're trying to like con him for like money, and he's like this like tobacco. He like owns this like tobacco company and stuff. And
no.
See,
stuff like that I wouldn't have watched back in the day, whereas I would today. Like I said, sci-fi, unless it's got a starship in it, or some kind of action, or Schwarzenegger, I don't really care.
Well, I believe the guy who directed it was also a writer on like some of the 90s Simpsons stuff too. It's got that kind of comedic quality to it.
Interesting. See, like back in the 90s, my favorite actor was still Arnold Schwarzenegger. These days, actually, Arnie still puts out some decent stuff now and again.
Yeah, but I thought we were talking about like attractiveness of actresses.
I know,
yeah,
but
sure Arnold's tone, but you know.
But talking about movies in general, it's like in the 90s, if it didn't have like sci-fi or fantasy in it, or even horror to a degree, it had to have Schwarzenegger in it. Also, if I was going to pay attention to it.
Oh, Total Recall is great, and Sharon Stone's pretty hot in that.
Now, see that I can agree with.
And Tomas, yeah, I can definitely relate. Indian food around here, you got two menus. You got the everyone's menu, and you got the I eat Indian food regularly menu.
You should watch Basic Instinct if you've never seen it.
You know, I've seen it on TV now and again, but
TV? Where do they edit out?
Everything is edited. There's no on TV. There's no.
Yeah, you don't.
Hell, I'm not even talking about the killing scene. I mean, just the opening of that movie. Oh God! Oh, it brings me pain just thinking about it. There's an ice pick stabbing scene, and Paul Verhoeven did such a great job with that.
Ouch.
Oh yes, exactly. Oh.
Ouch. In the restaurant, Go Mild is American hot. Yeah, I can imagine. Played Mayday in A View to Kill. I don't remember what she looked like, so I'll take your word. When it comes to Bond girls, my favorite will always be Natalia from GoldenEye.
Because death by snoo snoo.
Exactly. And also, I just kind of like redheads a lot. Habaneros. Let's see.
Like redheads. So do you like Red Sonja?
You know, I've not actually seen that.
Okay, that's gotta change. That's actually a really good movie.
Yeah, I just never got a chance to watch that. I've only seen Conan 1. I have that on Blu-ray as well. Conan 1 I actually really, really like, though. I'm a big fan.
Vulcan, it's mostly due to it's easy to grow peppers, and they're abundant. That's it.
Yeah, Conan 1's really good. Conan, the second one, it was alright. I understand. Some people really like it, and that's fine.
Peppers and curry are very easy to grow, they're abundant, and they're not expensive, so you can do a lot with it.
I always thought Call the Conqueror was kind of a guilty pleasure kind of movie.
You know, I have that. I have not seen that either. I know I need to, because it's got, I can never remember his name. The guy who played Qui-Gon. That's the only thing...
Ian Neeson.
Yeah, there we go. I do not know why I can never remember his name. As much as I don't like Episode 1, whenever I see him, the first thing I think of is Qui-Gon.
He wasn't in Call the Conqueror.
Yeah, he was.
I know it's been a while since I watched it, but...
The reason I say yeah, he was is just because on Wikipedia it says, you know, Liam Neeson is somebody in there.
Let me check.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Unless he's uncredited.
As for guilty pleasures, I'm gonna have to go with Excalibur.
So, like, a real guilty pleasure for me will be Wizards. The Ralph Bakshi drug film.
No, that's not a guilty pleasure. That's actually really well done.
Okay, then I don't know what my guilty pleasure would be then.
What was that alien movie I found? It was like in the 80s, and they're like trying to get heroin or something.
Ah, there we go. Okay, Crocodile Dundee 2. There we go. And Crocodile Dundee 1 probably is a guilty pleasure then.
I don't know if I'd class it as that. I mean, yeah, if you want to, I'll let it slide, but I wouldn't classify either as a guilty pleasure movie. They're both entertaining movies. There's
Lotz, you're thinking of Krull. K-R-U-L-L.
Oh, okay, not Cole. But yeah, those,
And you haven't seen Krull yet? Oh.
Oh yeah, sure. Cole. It's like Kroll and Cole. They both sound the same. Yeah, Kroll the Conqueror had Hercules in it.
Now I want to see a movie called Kroll and Cole.
I'd watch it.
Electra from World Is Not Enough. Eh, she's too skinny.
Well, I'll warn you, if you watch Kroll, you're going to want to get yourself a Glade.
Yeah, I know that.
Or at the very least, the Atari 2600 game.
Which sounds like a, product for smelling.
Oh my.
We got plug in the Glade!
Glaive.
I know. I said Glade because,
Let's see. Assuming there's no strong on there, I'm actually going to go and check the plumbing. So, be entertaining. We'll be back.
I was going to say, since you're doing the whole Star Wars year thing, you should review Kroll since it is Star Wars-esque in a way. But he left.
Krull actually is a good movie, although here's the thing. The glaive weapon that he uses is not a glaive. An actual glaive is a polearm. That disc he has that he calls a glaive is pretty cool. And oddly enough, both the arcade and the Atari 2600 game related to Krull, good games. Vampire's Kiss, yes. Yeah, I would classify that as a guilty pleasure, but it's also really entertaining. Because, well, we've got the the whole line of I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! Ooh, and wow, not even a really entertaining scene to leave us on, John. It's just staring at a wall. As for Darkman, the sequels I would class as guilty pleasures. The original I wouldn't.
Right. Here's a fun fact with the sequels. Darkman 3 is really Darkman 2. However, because when they were filming them and they got what's his face back, they decided to swap them when they released them.
And I have returned.
The guy that played Durant, I forgot his name.
Yeah, Jimmy Durant.
Yeah. So you actually should watch Darkman, and then 3, then 2, and it actually will make more sense, because that's the way they were supposed to go.
Yeah, the first one was basically, hey, let's get Raimi to make a superhero film.
There's also a short-lived TV series, I believe, as well.
It was just a pilot. I've seen it because it got released on YouTube. There's a
I
lot.
would love if they actually made a sequel to the first Darkman and had Liam come back.
You know, if that was actually, if there's any money in it, you could probably get it where it's like Darkman 20 years later.
Well, given what Hollywood's up to, you could probably get away with it these days, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, there's also an NES game released that had really, really floaty controls.
That's because it was handled by Ocean. Well, as you were a little bit young in the era, Ocean did some really wonky things to movie licenses. Although, here's the thing about Ocean. They bought the movie license up for video games before the movie was even remotely shot. They hit gold with buying the rights to RoboCop and never really hit gold again.
Yeah, because I was going to say, the only Ocean game... No, I played 2 Ocean games. There was Jurassic Park Part 2, which was at least playable, but RoboCop 3, I still remember this. My mother rented that for me, and was like excited that she was able to get the RoboCop game, because, you know, RoboCop's awesome, right? That game is such shit, it's not even funny. Like, it is borderline unplayable in terms of its difficulty.
Oh man, you don't know what unplayable RoboCop games is. Go fire up a Commodore 64 emulator and try playing through RoboCop. Good luck.
I think I'll stick to the Data East arcade game.
You want the spoiler for it? Because I'll give it to you.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't want to subject myself.
You can't play through it.
Oh, it's one of those.
No, I'm saying it is physically impossible. The coders that were programming it ran into a bug and they never fixed it. They just shipped the game completely broken.
So wait, Ocean would become EA then?
I'll be back.
Ocean would become non-existent.
It's like, my god, that's got to be the stupidest thing. It's like, really? You're kidding me?
No. The stupidest thing that Ocean ever did... I'm not so sure you're familiar with this film, but they bought the rights to Radio Flyer to try to turn into a video game.
I know the name, but I've never seen it.
They tried and bought the rights to a movie they didn't know about, to a movie about child abuse to turn into a video game.
Oh my god. Oh. You know, okay, you could make that into a game. If it was a point-and-click adventure game, and you'd really be pushing it. If you had, like, a really good writer, it could be like... It could be like this big PSA to stopping child abuse.
Oh no, the hilarious thing is they bought the rights to the game, and I've somewhere around here, I've still got it. Ocean would release mock screenshots before the game, before they would actually get really hard into programming it. And then they'd go through and realize, all right, well, we're going to go take some ideas from the original movie script. They had bought the rights, paid for it in full, and they released a mock-up of the movie poster as done in-game graphics, because that's how they would introduce their games. They wouldn't do art for movie licensed games. They would just use the movie poster, and they would try to make art related to certain assets of the movie. And they released this picture in EA saying coming summer, Radio Flyer, and it's like nobody knew what Radio Flyer was. It was just basically, here's a quick snippet trailer, and here's the movie poster. They had this published in 3 gaming magazines. Coming summer, Radio Flyer, the video game. And then it turns out in the next couple of weeks I find out, yeah, this is a movie about child abuse.
Oh my God.
Nothing was ever heard of that game again.
It's like, surely there'd have been some way to have gotten a copy of the script, or at least ask somebody what it was about.
Well, no, it was Ocean. This is how they got their licenses cheap. Is they would, as soon as a movie is being pinned to be shot, the script is announced. They would go out and they would say, okay, yeah, we're going to go ahead and we're going to place down our bid for the rights to make the game. The thing is, with RoboCop, they've gotten really lucky because at the time, RoboCop was a bunch of nobodies making a film about an officer that comes back from the dead. So, they got the license dirt cheap. And they were always doing that. It's, The Untouchables. They did that with Darkman. They did that with Hudson Hawk. Hudson Hawk was on the Amiga. It's not so bad. On the NES, it's kind of crap. And the movie itself was not good. It flopped.
Yeah, that's the comedy with Bruce Willis, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad movie. It was an absolute flop. But that's how Ocean did their business, and they didn't realize. Oh wait, yeah, we're making a Radio Flyer game. Guys, this might not be a good idea.
Oh God, I just realized you could do. This is horrible. Okay, so Radio Flyer the game. You're trying to get away from your abusive parent, mother, father, whatever it is, in your Radio Flyer. You have to avoid him as he tries to attack you. I mean, it'd sell, right? I'd buy it.
Well, hell, they even did it with Dennis the Menace, which also, by the way, is another example of you can't complete this game. The Amiga version, you cannot complete. It is impossible.
It's like... Ocean, I didn't know it was that bad. But then again, I only played 2 of their games. Like, that is just...
Well, they had some good games, but for the most part, it was, get it out as quick as possible.
Yeah. Takes 5 hours to beat Jurassic Park Part 2 on hard difficulty. I actually plan to attempt to beat it 4th time. I've never even beat it the 1st time. And honestly, Corey, when I looked over there, I thought you were talking about IHOP for a second. Although that is a company that should have looked before it left. Adding burgers to it, really?
Oh, they got better.
Well, I never really rated IHOP that much, just because the lines here, and just about anywhere I've gone, are like massive, and the food isn't that amazing. I should have the same problem.
Well, it's either that or Waffle House at 3 a.m. in the morning.
I've never actually... No, I have been to a Waffle House, but it probably would have been over 15 years ago now. Maybe even 20.
I can walk to the one close to my house.
Yeah, I think
I'm back.
Yay! What about LJN? I actually have played an LJN game played a number of LJN. They're not all that bad.
LJN's biggest problem was they subcontracted. They didn't pay attention. It's like, okay, get it out fast. That's a trend in the 8-bit and 16-bit eras. Let's put it this way: if Ocean had survived till the late 90s, they probably would have tried to get the rights to Saving Private Ryan.
And they probably would have ended up messing that up. Probably would have turned it into a top-down shooter or something. Oh, Saving Private Ryan. You know, a lot of people really love that film, and it's not bad, but there's a lot better World War II films out there.
Yeah, there are. Although that being said, could you imagine Ocean trying to get the rights to Schindler's List? Would have never happened, but because the reason Jurassic Park 1 and 2 are good is because Spielberg was over their shoulder saying, "You better make this a damn good game, or I'm going to kick your ass."
I need to do a review on Jurassic Park Rampage Edition for the Genesis. That is a remarkably good game, even if it is balls to the wall hard. Although not nearly as hard as Chaos Continues. Jacob's Ladder, I've never actually seen that either. Spider-Man Maximum Carnage was pretty good. And Alien 3! Wait, what?
I'm sorry, but I'm not a fan of Maximum Carnage, nor for separation anxiety. The only good thing I will say about it is you have Maynard James Keenan making 16-bit music, and you know he's also ripping off Ronnie James Dio lovingly.
Yeah, I actually had that as my ringtone. For those who don't know, there's actually a song in Maximum Carnage that is a 16-bit remake of Mob Rules. Actually,
the Ronnie James Dio era of Black Sabbath, which is the best era.
You know, 5 years ago, I would have disagreed with you. In the future, I actually do agree. Because I do
Ozzy
like...
is really good, but Ronnie James Dio brings something that Ozzy can't. I'm not knocking on Ozzy, I'm just saying Ronnie's just that little bit better.
And 5 years ago, I would have disagreed, but in the space year 2019...
Very well done, King.
There we go.
Let's go.
It's a puzzle!
Epic Jason, that's because Alien 3 on the Genesis and SNES was programmed by Probe. Probe usually did put out good work.
Yeah, I think they did the Mortal Kombat port as well.
Yeah, they did the Genesis and the SNES Mortal Kombat ports.
Everyone always complains about the sweat in the Mortal Kombat port for the SNES, but growing up with that one, I didn't really miss the blood. I mean, it's sweat, blood, whatever. Blood technically is a little more, or sweat is a little more realistic. Because when you punch somebody, they don't have gallons of blood fly out. At least I assume they don't.
That and Probe handled NBA Jam, which they did a pretty darn good job on.
Well, it's like the new ones on the X-ray. You're always breaking people's spines and stuff, and they're still fine.
Yeah. It's like...
You guys are gonna hate me, but I am not a Mortal Kombat fan at all.
Heretic!
Sorry, man. Street Fighter and Darkstalkers for life.
Weeb.
Say what you will, but I like my games in balance.
Web. But then again, you know...
Oh, I shot it.
I suck at Street Fighter, and always have. Oh, this goddamn light puzzle, I remember this.
What about Killer Instinct?
Music's okay, I just don't like the dialect combos.
Alien 3 The Gun. I actually played that with somebody a couple weeks back. It was an interesting experience for them. And King of Fighters, not bad. Not bad.
Good stuff. Though you gotta mention what's your favorite year. You don't say 98, I'm gonna start raising questions.
I don't know, 94 wasn't bad.
94 was the start.
I know, I like the first one. I think that's... Then again, I haven't played King of Fighters in like a really long time, so I don't remember too much about it. Although, from what I do recall, 94 was a little different in that you had you could pick like 3 different fighters at once. I don't know if that carried over or not.
Yeah, 3 different fighters for all of it, although 98 brings us... 98 is the Slugfest, which is basically the dream match. Because they'd already finished off the Rugel Bernhardt story and started entering the Orochi story. So it's a dream match here.
And that's why I'm going to shake my or nod my head politely, because I know nothing about the story of that. In fact, I only just kind of messed around with the various King of Fighters in MAME.
Well, I'm not expecting you to own the Neo Geo carts because, well, expensive.
I do have Capcom vs. SNK for the Dreamcast. And I also downloaded the MAME version as well and played it on my DS quite a bit. God damn it. One strength Genesis had. Yeah, the music on the Genesis was actually quite good. And Techstorm was asking if you've seen Jacob's Letter.
Yeah, but it's been ages. It was quite enjoyable. I need to rewatch it. There's a few films I need to rewatch.
It was Jacob, so it's my ladder now. Oh, wait, what?
Due to the bad economy, he had to sell it.
Oh my god. That movie is just about the life of a ladder. Named Jacob.
You know, coming soon to a theater near you by Pixar. Jacob's Ladder. Voiced
Now
by...
that would be a very different movie.
Or from the creators of Rubber.
Voiced by Chris Pratt.
Yeah, you see, I would pay to watch, Rubber redone by Pixar. Because that would be the most
Rubber.
insane thing ever. That would be so absolutely, pudding packet flingingly nutty.
Is it wrong that I'm thinking of a movie about a talking condom?
Oh god.
Oh,
I'd pay to see that as well.
Sick all day.
Hey,
Adler's
Trumba's
Ladder.
Killer Condom is funny. I would pay to see that done by Pixar. It will never happen.
It's just about a bunch of talking condoms. Oh god.
It could be said, though, that in an alternate universe, such a thing might exist.
Oh no! Lou was pushed too hard. He broke.
Oh,
As voiced by Danny DeVito.
And Danny Glover. No. That's almost as nutty as a Sausage Party.
which is a miracle that even happened.
And once again, I know the name, but I don't know anything about it because
You should really just sit down and watch it one of these days.
you gotta remember, if it's not sci-fi, action, or Schwarzenegger, I probably haven't, or horror.
Yeah, but the new movie and your new lot.
That's true.
And yes, Vulcan Rubber is about a psychokinetic tire with a vengeance.
It has like fourth wall jokes in it.
Oh, it's nothing but fourth wall jokes.
Yeah.
And one film I do want to eventually sit through is something completely unrelated to any of that. Batman meets the Ninja Turtles. I don't know why such a thing exists.
Because money.
Well, okay, there's that, but really, Batman meets Ninja Turtles? Like, they're that low on ideas. It's like, okay, what makes money? Batman and Ninja Turtles. Surely that'll print all the money.
Hey, why not?
Why is it angry and wants a vengeance? Well, you know,
You're gonna have to watch the movie. I'm not spoiling it for you. You need to see it. It's a life-changing experience for the better.
Okay, my theory is he's a Firestone and he wants to get revenge on the Goodyear Company. Shit, I've got a grand total of 10 health.
From the creators of the Talking Condom movie comes a new movie about lady products.
Tampon 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Tampons and pads.
Well, see, that's where, you know, The Rock just couldn't get along with Vin Diesel, so they had to split it off.
Apparently the sequel bombed. I just don't know why.
Wow, really? We're going with that.
Jacob's Ladder on Fox Kids. Oh, Fox Kids. That was a great programming block that, you know, all the cool kids today will never know the glory of the Fox Kids. Nor will they know the weird little thing that existed for like 2 years where like they had this like well, not matronly isn't the right word. They would have like this somewhat attractive female like introduce the new shows, like Batman and Animaniacs and stuff like that. That didn't last very long, but I vaguely remember this. This would be over 20 years ago now. That's when you know you're old. It's when you can say, yeah, 20 years ago. It's like, where is my youth gone?
I still say they need to finally release Eek the Cat on DVD at least, or Blu-ray, whichever. I doubt there's a chance to do it.
Cat.
Never happened. That's why you just need to find it via...
You're only going to find low scans.
Eek the Cat, the live-action movie.
Don't jinx it. Disney owns Fox now.
But it's going to be a rated R.
Okay, I could deal with that.
Felix the Cat. And he meets Felix the Cat, voiced by Harrison Ford.
And it's going to be done by no, it's going to be done claymation. It's going to be done by
I'd still pay.
Oh, what's his name? Okay, I load up a game and it's like, no, your mouse pointer's mine.
Your soul is mine.
You think you're playing the game is playing you.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Lotz, we should play a TMNT Rescue Plaza sometime.
The what?
I still gotta give that a shot.
The
fan-made TMNT game, it actually looks really good.
Why am I the last to hear of these things?
It has like over 60 playable characters.
Damn.
17 stages, 4 bonus stages, 4 player local co-op, so we can just play it through Parsec. Improved graphics, voice groups in the TV show, rideable vehicles, all kinds of stuff.
Vulcan, we've got 2, Fritz movies by Ralph Bakshi. I think that's enough. Especially saying that Crumb hates the Ralph Bakshi movies, which honestly kind of makes them better.
Okay, the live action Eat the Cat movie will be claymation and it'll be done by Lee Hardcastle.
Who?
That's gonna be strange. I think it's it.
He does a lot of interesting stop motion stuff. He also does a trilogy of Simpson shorts, though I don't know if I can recommend them. The first one is excessively dark and disturbing and sick, and the 2 sequels are something.
I think I'll pass.
Let's say Miracle World, Disney loses the rights to Eek the Cat. Don Hertzfeld.
He made Street Sharks.
But he does weird stuff like he did a Frozen parody with the blood test from the Thing, and like he does some Doom stuff that's pretty cool.
And Vulcan, to answer both questions, there are only 4 turtles, but there's an extended cast, and Crumb is the creator of Fritz the Cat.
Really care. There we go. Must everything be so difficult? There's epic stuff going on behind me that you can't see because I'm trying to fuck with my chair over here.
Yep, just an elevator ride. Pay no attention to the shaking and the massive explosions.
I mean that. Hey, it's AOC. I didn't know she was in this game.
Hans,
you ever watch that?
Get the thing through. Klabenwaffe, Hans. Bring it.
There was a stop motion film that came out a couple of years ago. I think I shared it with you lots. It was about this like robot assassin, but he ends up getting his intelligence put into like some crappy like robot boy body, and it's like this weird underground world.
I cannot say. I don't think I know what that is.
Oh, the name is like the edge of my brain. It has a simple name, but it's not coming to me.
Men in Black, the cartoon show, was quite good as well, although they never really had too much character development for Jay. They just kind of left him as sort of a goofy idiot. There were a number of good episodes in that, though. For some reason, that animation style was very popular in the late 90s.
It's because it was cheap and easy to produce.
Oh, makes sense then. But yeah, Men in Black, the animated series. I remember as an adolescent, I was quite fond of Agent L. I thought she was really hot, both in the movie and in the animated show. And there's one episode where it was sort of a parody of Alien and Predator that was quite good. There's a hilarious scene in that episode that I still remember. And it's been over a decade since I've seen this show. Where, like, the Xenomorph is like, why can't you get me a gig? It's like, because we're gonna, and we're waiting for the right Frenchman to come along to have you give birth. Yeah, never mind.
They even had an Evolution TV series as well.
Yeah, see, I know what that I know that existed, but it's like it's kind of funny how in the late '90s there was TV series for everything, or that was early 2000s. So like, even the most obscure crap like Evolution.
Apparently, the '90s Godzilla animated series was like way better than the live action movie.
Yeah, it was because I actually did see that.
That's not a high bar.
True.
He actually ended up fighting the Loch Ness Monster, who was a giant eel, I think, in that show.
Big Guy and Rusty even got a friggin' animated series.
I saw that too. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was based off the comic as close as they could get it. It was actually good. Which, unfortunately, they couldn't get an animated adaptation of Scud the Disposable Assassin. I wish they had gotten that.
You know, it's a little sad that we never got like a '90s adaptation of like Aliens in that children's animated show.
Yeah, Operation Aliens.
No. If you're gonna do an Aliens animated series, back then you would have handed it to HBO, like they did with Spawn.
That I want to see that universe.
So do I, John. So do I.
That would be fucking awesome. I would even take an Operation Aliens. I would take that. It does make me wonder though, when will the pilot to that ever get leaked? Because it's only a matter of time before that actually gets leaked.
If it's not leaked by now, that thing is somewhere underneath Fox Studios. It is very hermetically sealed, akin to the Ark of the Covenant, somewhere in some warehouse, unknown to the rest of the world.
I wanted animated, not live action. Yeah, there's that Ace Ventura Pet Detective animated series. Awesome. They also did The Mask.
There's also a point-and-click game for the animated series, and I don't even know where in the heck you can find it anymore, because it's not on GOG, and oddly enough, CD Projekt Red, that was actually one of the games that they translated in Polish.
That's random. Crap. The big guy.
Beetlejuice was an interesting animated series.
Yeah, but here's the thing about Beetlejuice. Don't watch it in standard motion. Do not slow motion watch keyframes.
Okay.
Let's just say some of the animators were pushing the boundaries of legality and sanity.
So what you're saying is, Beetlejuice has dick tentacles then?
More focused on Lydia.
I didn't know Casablanca was made the TV series.
In fact, yeah, back in the VHS days, the animators being pervy and just plain wrong actually didn't get fully noticed, and it made it to box copy of a VHS.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh
Kind of like the penile jokes in Disney covers. Yeah, it's that bad.
Well, I didn't expect it would get that bad, but okay. You wouldn't expect that from Beetlejuice in and of itself is kind of a weird film all around. It's like, I don't remember that much about it because I was never that big of a Beetlejuice fan. But wasn't like the chick character, whatever the hell her name was, supposed to be like a child bride to the Beetlejuice, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah,
No!
in the movie, he tried to marry Lydia, though she wasn't a child in the movie.
Okay. Now wait a minute. Who
You
is in
started to watch Beetlejuice in HD.
I haven't seen that in so long. It just The only reason I'd ever watch that, though, to be perfectly honest, is because it has Michael Keaton in it as Beetlejuice, and I'm a big fan of him. It's like, Michael Keaton is still my favorite live-action Batman.
Therefore, you need to rewatch Beetlejuice in HD.
Because he does a pretty good job as Batman, and he does a really good job as Bruce Wayne.
He's also Mr. Mom.
Anyway.
Wow. Oh yeah, they also made a Dumb and Dumber animated series.
You know, I was going to ask if they did that. It's like, my God, what didn't have an animated
series? Did
series?
not last that long.
Well,
I actually think that only lasted for like one episode.
I think one of them had a crossover too, but I think it was Ace Ventura and the Mask or something. Well, because Jim Carrey was literally a live-action cartoon character. So.
Well, here's the thing about The Mask. It was already covered once because it was a comic first, then they turned it into a movie, then they turned the movie into an animated series, and it kept getting further and further away from what the original source material was.
What the hell?
And there was a Back to the Future animated series as well. I vaguely remember that, too.
Of what now?
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And be entertaining. I must go. My planet needs me.
Whoosh.
Lotz was Poochie all this time?
Maybe. He hasn't done anything to the extreme yet. And yeah, Epic Jason, Christopher Lloyd did a lot of live action for the... He did a lot of voice acting for that animated series. And Vulcan, Saints Row animated series, it wouldn't be an Adult Swim, it would probably be an HBO thing.
I forgot they did a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids live action series.
Oh, it was terrible.
That show was fucking weird.
Which show?
No. Weird is Maniac Mansion live action series.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids TV series.
No. Maniac Mansion had a TV series?
It wasn't related to the games and anything other than the name, but it was still pretty good.
I don't think you can even find it.
Straight to YouTube.
Unless it's had a resurgence or came out somewhere else. Last time I checked, I couldn't even find clips on YouTube of it.
And yeah, Turok, expect long load times, wonky saves, and generally a very rushed feeling because it was never finalized.
What? They made a TV series called James Bond Jr. What?
Yes, it was horrible.
You know, the only reason I know that exists is because of Linkara.
There's even a James Bond Jr. video game, and it's just as bad.
By Ocean Software, I bet.
No, and of course Fox Kids had Kong, the animated series.
Hey, what was?
Kong, the animated series. Based off King Kong.
Why am I not surprised? But, what were you going to say, Rain?
Actually, I think the James Bond Jr. is by Ocean.
That seems fitting. James Bond Jr. Junior.
And of course, most of the 90s Disney animated films had TV series as well.
Yeah, somehow Dr. No is still alive in the James Bond Jr. universe, even though it takes place about midway through James Bond's career, so Dr. No should be well past dead, as opposed to being long-haired and green.
My God.
Wait,
come on, blow up, blow up. Yes!
I forgot they made a Minority Report TV series.
They did? I didn't even... It's kind of like Tech War, the TV series.
How many episodes were made of this?
Take Tech and die.
They made 10 episodes, and then it went bye-bye.
10 episodes of what, though?
Minority Report.
Oh. Minority Report. Everybody runs.
As long as it ain't the Minority Report game.
You know, if Spoonie hadn't already done that, I would actually like to have done that. That was one of his last good videos, too.
Oh yeah, I forgot they had a Mummy animated series.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. It's like... And, the, Brendan Fraser character actually flies around in a big purple dirigible. Because of course he does.
Because somebody spent too much time watching 80 Days Around the World. And text to him, yeah, I saw that this morning.
What was it?
Milcor M32 grenade launcher.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot Rambo and Before the Freedom existed.
Oh yeah, that was prime 80s.
All right.
So much so that here's the funny thing. Okay, anybody here who's seen Rambo, First Blood and Part 2, right?
Yeah, I have.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right.
And 3.
The jade necklace that Cobb gives to Rambo, you know what he does to that in the end of the movie, right?
Right.
He pitches it. In the animated series, he's still got it. And they actually sold it as an accessory for toys.
Wow.
It's like when they made the Aladdin sequel and like the genie still has the gold like things on his hands. Like,
Yep.
Wait, I thought it was free.
Yeah. It's like
So we find out the genie's a sadomasochist.
There's probably part of the internet for that, but I don't want to know.
you know there's gonna be genie porn. You
Called
know.
deviant art. It's called deviant art.
Yes, but I do not mean to be a deviant and for that.
Like I'm just shooting these black holes around. I'm glad they explode eventually. Otherwise, I'd be
Oh,
like
God.
doing Strogos to like.
Spaceballs, the anime series. I tried to block that on my brain and reblock it.
Spaceballs, the flamethrower.
That anime series is awful.
Okay, you want to know awful? Police Academy, the animated series.
Yeah, I saw that. I just skipped it.
Oh yeah, SPP
Or
3.2.
RoboCop, the animated series. Things got pretty bad.
There's a TV series based off Starman? Huh. I didn't know that existed.
Ultimasaurus. It's Half-Life controls are quite similar. Okay. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, RoboCop, the animated series. There was an 80s version and a 90s version. The 90s version was RoboCop Alpha Commando.
Whoa.
Basically,
I didn't know the Starman TV series was a sequel to the movie. What?
and basically that version of RoboCop was Inspector Gadget. Yeah. I actually have some toys for RoboCop Alpha Commando. They're not too bad, actually. But that RoboCop animated series in the 80s,
Yeah, there was like 3 or 4 of them.
still, though, nothing is quite as bad as the, that RoboCop bunch of... They weren't short films, but those TV movies. There we go.
Prime Directives.
Yeah, Prime Directive. I can't help... The reason I laugh is because, okay... And yes, I know the name of the actor. Paige Fletcher was his name, who played RoboCop in that. He was like 5'0", and like, why is RoboCop suddenly smaller than everyone? What does he do? Compact model? What's he got to be more energy efficient? He's got to go green, so they made him smaller.
Sneeze.
He's like
You made
smart.
RoboCop into a Prius.
Yeah, pretty much smart car.
The suit didn't even fit him.
Cancel animated TV show for Disney based on Mighty Ducks. No, that wasn't canceled. It was real. The Mighty Ducks TV show literally had a bunch of alien space ducks.
Oh God.
That's
That's Disney. That's peak Disney.
alien space ducks. I am not lying. This is a real thing. Look it up.
I thought Paige Fletcher was shorter than that.
Well, what?
And TechStorm, no, the RPG-7 wouldn't be legal even with training rounds. It's BATFE would classify it as a destructive device, so even a training round would cost you about $800 plus a $200 tax stamp.
Evidently, the ATF decided to redefine what a pistol is. So, side braces, I think, are no longer a thing, unfortunately. But that's to be expected. I don't know. Have you seen that, Rain?
I'm still looking up news reports. I've been mostly following political news and news from Portland.
Well, that's depressing.
I forgot they had a Taken TV series.
I still think Taken and Transporter need a crossover.
I mean, I'm down. You know, Transporter also has a TV series.
So, like, and of course there's Lethal Weapon, the TV series, and Rush Hour, the TV series. And it needs to be a General Lotz TV series, where I'm played by a low-rent version of myself. Crap. Come on, vape him. You know, that's the one thing I've always been annoyed with Star Wars about, because it's like, the Rogue Squadron books could have been turned into a goddamn TV series quite easily.
Bless you.
My God.
I tried to mute. Oh God. They made 2 Uncle Buck TV series.
I don't even know what. I don't even know who.
John Candy actually got his own TV series called Camp Candy.
I remember that. So did Louis Anderson.
Hey, that one actually was. Well, the Life with Louie TV series from the early 90s, I thought that was pretty good. I'll admit I haven't seen that in over 2 decades, but it probably was okay.
Still, 2 TV series, one in 1990 to one in 2015.
Now, wait a minute. I don't even know who Uncle Buck even is.
It's a movie with John Candy, where he plays Uncle Buck in,
Okay.
I mean, haven't you seen the porn parody Uncle Fuck? No kidding. It's a John Hughes movie.
But see, you know, it's like, he plays Uncle Buck. Well, what does Uncle Buck do? Does he fuck all the time, or what?
Oh my God! Now you make me think of Kill Bill.
Yeah, I know. That's where I went almost immediately.
Thus far, no news appearing on braces.
It's a prequel to Kill Bill, you see. Oh God.
Okay, well that's good at least. 'Cause... crap. Because that would be most aggravating. Bubsy had a TV pilot.
Yeah, it didn't even officially air. It was recorded, it was put in the can, and they realized this is a really bad idea.
Big Mama... Wait, no. What is it? Oh, Big Mama's House Meet the Fucker. Oh, God.
Okay, in the 90s, Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson, and Wayne Gretzky had an animated series. So
What is like Big Mama's House meets Mrs. Doubtfire? Or it's all the actors who ever played drag characters, they have to work together for something.
They have to work together to stop counterfeiters.
Drag Force. I'm going straight to hell.
Including Joanna Man.
And I say this is a person who's gone in drag for the Rocky Horror Picture Show event. I'm going straight to hell.
Drag 2.
There's already a drag queen animated superhero thing on Netflix.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's called She-Ra.
Okay, sure. And then we should make another movie where we take like every single thing that's been like Freaky Friday knockoff and make that into one movie too.
It's Freaky 3-Day Weekend.
Oh my God.
Freaky 4th of July.
Next weekend.
You know, they should have did like a Freaky Friday thing with like, well, I guess Face Off doesn't really count, but like 2 other random action stars.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like Jumanji, though.
Schwarzenegger and Stallone doing bad impersonations of each other.
Okay, I'd pay all the money to see that. Or maybe I
can't imagine Schwarzenegger doing Italian.
No, I can't even do that. Wow, damn. Maybe I can pull it. No, there's no way I can pull it off. My mind is like, nope, 404. Mind not found.
Stallone might be able to do an Austrian accent, maybe. You know, Stallone who been in such classics as
Stop and my
Judge
mom will
Dredd.
shoot.
yeah, that and that, what was it called? That movie Dolly Parton, like Rhinestone or something.
Rhinestone Cowboy.
Ugh.
Why I know
No,
that?
he was
I
not
don't.
in Rhinestone Cowboy. He was in Rhinestone. He was not in Rhinestone Cowboy.
Oh.
It's
Shows
a movie
him
where there's a bet going on where like she has to try and make him a country singer, and yeah, he cannot sing.
I can just picture.
Yeah, it was funny. Of course, it was supposed to be comic, but still, it's like really slow.
Okay, which would you rather watch? Judge Dredd or Stop or My Mom Will Shoot?
Can I watch Tango and Cash instead?
No, you have to pick one or the other.
I guess it's gonna be Judge Dredd.
Yeah,
See,
maybe. Yeah. No,
I knew
don't
you'd say
necessarily-
that.
Oh,
I don't necessarily hate Stop and My Mom Will Shoot. For some reason, that ended up being a movie I've seen too many times growing up.
I haven't even seen it any times. I think probably one of the worst of the matchups would have to be Jean-Claude and the guy who went to see the Kim Jong-un.
The problem with Stop and My Mom Will
Dennis
Shoot,
Rodman.
it's not.
Yeah, that guy.
The problem with Stop and My Mom Will Shoot, the fact that it's not made for Stallone fans. It's made for older women.
Older
Like
women,
Golden Girl
eh?
fans or something. I don't know.
as for
I heard-
him and Rodman,
I heard Schwarzenegger was the reason he did that movie. He was like, Schwarzenegger's gonna do it. No, I'm gonna do it. That's at least what I heard. So
Why am I not surprised?
that Schwarzenegger like intentionally trolled him.
Hey, it's Joe Biden. I mean, never mind.
Ugh.
I don't think that campaign ad's going to do too well. But
80s Kurt
anyway.
Russell could have pulled off Kyle Katarn. Current Kurt Russell could pull off an older Kyle Katarn.
Oh, don't tempt me with things that I know can never be.
I think Stallone's done more bad movies than Schwarzenegger has.
You know, I could agree with that. And yeah,
Well,
the Jumanji
Stallone's done adult movies as well.
Italian Stallion. Yeah,
Stop My Mom Will Shoot has a 4.2 on IMDb.
Well, it's not terrible. It's just not great. I mean, with Judge Dredd, it's pretty bad, but I can at least get a good laugh out of it.
To be honest, I haven't seen it so long. Nor do I think I really want to rewatch it anytime soon.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I'll just do it for the show, just torture Lotz and
But yeah, Jumanji from the 90s was quite an entertaining TV show. It was a bit weird, though. They were constantly stuck in the jungle. And
Oh yeah!
Oh, Epic Jason, Narc technically got sort of an animated series. It was back when Acclaim was doing their whole power team, really weird, not quite Captain In nonsense.
Captain In, the Game Master. Now, that was something that was before my time. And I'm kind of glad that it was, because that looked like... If you were...
It was absolutely horrible.
I know, and I'm glad Samus wasn't in it. Of all the characters that wasn't in it, I'm glad she was not, because like they ruined everyone. Like they literally ruined everyone.
So, Lotz, did you ever see Problem Child growing up?
You know, I saw the third one, I think.
Oh my god, no! No! That doesn't count!
Is that the one with like the... Okay, it's the kid that does all the...
Yeah, but the third one, no. The first two were pretty great.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, I don't know... Why was the third one so bad? Because my
Oh my god.
my vague recollection of the plot is like, okay, you got the kid, he's doing the bad stuff, he wants to get his father together with some chick, and there's like this big rock. That's about all I remember.
I mean, like, John Ritter isn't in...
But see, it's like, that doesn't sound that horrible. And that's the problem. It's just, I don't know anything about the series.
No. Like, the
Okay, I'll
first
go out
two...
and say this. I'm a sucker for John Ritter. He was awesome. I miss him.
those were movies that they used to play all the time on like USA back in the day.
Because it cost them nothing to show it.
Yeah.
Let's
So,
see.
the first one's better than the second one. The second one is, wow. I don't even know where to. Well, let's see. What the first one's PG, the second one was PG-13, but it was still trying to aim for the same audience. They just upped the gross factor.
Yeah, see, it's like, I just don't know. Now, of course, 90s show...
It's where John Ritter met his wife, man.
Oh,
They turned
boy!
Mega Man and Captain N into a chain smoker.
Well, the Ruby Spears Mega Man series is still pretty good.
I'm gonna say no to that.
But the Super Fighting Robot! Mega Man! He's coming to save the world!
No, the
There's
first film
3
was
frames of animation.
so
Yeah.
lost. The first film was just about like a little boy who does a bunch of like shenanigans, and then eventually he writes like a serial killer in prison or something like that. Played by the guy who played Kramer on Seinfeld,
Yep.
and it's fine. It's a product of the '90s. Anyways,
Yeah, see, I just had no idea. I don't know. Liam Neeson and Christopher Lambert, that'd be kind of cool.
though I weep for you that you only remember the third film.
That's the only one I've seen, I guess.
Oh my god.
Actually, Sugar Ray Ray, I do remember Captain Power, and here's the funny thing.
Sugar.
That
Alright, what?
actually got taken off of the air because it was going to get dark. That was actually... Captain Power is actually written by J. Michael Straczynski,
Ooh.
the same one who wrote Babylon 5.
The name of the place. Babylon 5. A show that really should have ended in its 4th season. I mean, I'm just saying.
It may be, but that being said, Captain Power, I don't know if anybody wants spoilers. Like I said, it gets kind of dark. I suppose, yeah, it's a 30-year-old show, and it only had 1 season. The last episode of that first season ends on a semi-cliffhanger with one of the main characters confirmed dead. Her last words being, "Go to hell," before she blows up the base with her in it.
Damn. Now I kind of want to find
This
this.
is a kid's show.
Yeah,
You'd
see,
be fine.
how'd they get away with the go to hell?
They didn't. That's why it got pulled.
Oh. Well, it will forever be known as the show that actually went one step beyond.
What were those episodes released later on?
No, it aired. That's why it got pulled.
As for Babylon 5, yeah, for me, that 5th season was utter shit. I mean, they went on with that fucking psychic thing for way too long. And Babylon 5 had one of the best series, if they hadn't had actually gone with the 5th season, had one of the best series finales of all time. I was actually thinking about that just today. Babylon 5 is a science fiction show that really needs to be seen. It's not on Netflix or anything, but the DVD box set is like $50, so it's cheap enough. But that last episode, though, of season 4... Crap. Where is my rocket launcher?
And talking on marketability, there was actually a Babylon 5 collectible card game.
If you have Amazon Prime, you can watch Babylon 5.
Yeah, but who wants Amazon Prime? Stick it to the Bezos, man.
And Techstorm, yeah, I sort of recommend Rebellion. It's all right.
Shit.
I'm not the biggest fan, but it's a good game.
Yeah, but it's gonna be real primitive, though, by today's standards. I mean... It's one of those...
Turn screwheads?
Well, no, Rebellion, I don't know if that was the first Star Wars RTS, but it was one of the earliest ones that I remember. It's pretty good from what I recall, but man, is that primitive, though. That is one of those games that really cries out for a remake. Bad. just in terms of like the user interface. And you can build the Death Star in that, but you can't like kill Luke. Like if Luke's on a planet and you have the Death Star, it'll just say he's injured. Okay, why is this not killing them?
Did you ever play Microsoft Allegiance? It's been like free forever.
I don't think I've even heard of it.
Grab it on Steam, it's good.
Save.
They're still updating it.
What I want to know is what happened to flight sims.
Well, Microsoft is sorta coming back with a flight sim, but they haven't made one in 15 years. As for what happened to flight sims, X-Plane and Prepare 3D.
What is that?
Those are both professional grade flight sims. Prepare 3D is admittedly expensive, but is actually used in actual flight simulators, as in you are taking your finals before you go up on a plane and do your training hours.
See, my big problem with that though is like, if that killed like the flight sim genre, now there's no more World War II flight sims or anything like that.
Oh no, honestly, what killed the World War II flight sim genre is Iltus Thermovic and hidden weapons, secret weapons over Normandy.
Really? Huh.
Because they were really good, but nobody bothered to really do anything after that.
Yeah, because like, they used to be so popular when I was growing up. It's like, whatever happened to Jane's? What happened to that? The Jane's?
The Jane series is mostly taken over by DCS now. As I was about to say, whatever happened to Jane's, the immediate thing I think is, well, they're still in business. They don't make Sims anymore, they don't make games anymore, but Jane's is still in business, and each year they keep producing more and more equipment guides.
But I don't know why they stopped making games, though. I mean, well, but then again, changing demographics and stuff like that.
Well, it's also changing companies. Remember, the Jane's games, most of the staff now is working at DCS.
And Microprose is long since dead, so...
That's actually an interesting story. Microprose went through a lot of weirdness, and like I say, Microprose, most of the Jane staff is at DCS. That's include the Microprose crew. And when their founder died, I want to say 2012 or 2013. I'm sorry, I haven't had much sleep, so I'm really kind of meh right now. But when their founder died, they, held a full funeral flight for in-game. You got hundreds of pilots flying in formation.
Damn, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I always wanted to be a pilot as a kid, but I just have too bad eyesight, and the worst aspect of it all is the fact I get horrible motion sickness. Horrible.
You don't have the need for speed.
Yeah. That was one dream dead, but oh well. My god, it is. We've got 8 cores. God. It's an NVIDIA Titan. It's actually running the entire strong Bitcoin mining. Okay.
So that's their secret. You're trying to outdo China.
China.
Yeah, they can never get boobs that big. Ah, never mind.
Oh my god. Can God create a boob so big that even he... Oh wait, what?
God damn it!
Yes, God can create boat. Yeah.
Wow.
Boobs so big he can't motorboat them.
Speaking of The Sims, trying to get into Assetto Corsa. I don't even know what that is.
That's a racing sim, and to get into Assetto Corsa, you really need a force feedback wheel. No ifs, no ands, no buts, no exceptions.
It's like I just never got into stuff like that. That's just not... That stuff just does not interest me in any way, shape, or form. It's like, for me, racing is F-Zero, and that's it. It's like...
Well, there's another reason to get think of it like flight sims. Race sims can get just as complex, but then there's also you have the other side, which is driving sim. Like I'm a big fan of Euro Truck Simulator.
You know, like even that doesn't sound that amazing to me, at least. Although, speaking of getting a real controller, I gotta get an actual flight joystick for TIE Fighter at some point. Because but see, the problem is, like, even if I get a flight joy, god damn it, get a flight joystick for TIE Fighter, I don't even know how to get that thing working on a modern computer and working through DOSBox. That's the one thing I hate about the X-Wing and TIE Fighter games.
I mean, Ancient DOS Games has a few tutorials from related videos, and there are tutorials on how to get it up and running.
If you can add it through Steam, you can also use Steam to configure the flight stick.
Well, no, remember, it's running in a DOSBox shell.
Right, but you can still map mouse and keyboard stuff to a controller.
It doesn't work like that, because those games, like X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, it's looking for an analog input, and a mouse is not an analog input.
Oh yeah, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to finish the game, since we're almost done. Did it in 2 episodes. Either this game is really short, or I'm just really that good with this game. Were there even joysticks released with USB? Because, like,
back then, no, it was all DB15.
So
you had game port.
I imagine there's got to be like an adapter for that. I don't even know.
No, you could use a standard analog flight stick through DOSBox. There's a button wrapper that basically you use, and like I said, there's tutorials to set it up. It's not hard or impossible. It just takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, I'm glad that TIE Fighter is all the way in November. I don't have to care right now. Because like Jedi Knight 2 is a really long game. I'm still not finished with it, and I've been playing it non-stop for the past week. That's one of the things I always loved about old games. They were just they were like adventures compared to, you know, just some disposable, cheap entertainment. Well, cheap. They weren't just disposable, let's put it that way. Now, Ray, you mentioned that you played Jedi Knight 1 multiplayer, right?
I did, but it's been quite a while. Jedi Knight 2 multiplayer is what I really played a lot of. That's basically when I was rooming with a bunch of Star Wars geeks and coworkers. That's what we played a lot of.
I actually did play that multiplayer, by which I mean against bots. I did have time to play with myself. And I have not seen Fire and Ice, but if it promises epic boobage, I may have to check it out.
No, there's some boobage.
And I am still using the FX, I think it's 6000, not 6350. I'm not entirely sure what this is at the moment. And it works pretty well. I'm able to play Rage 2, although Rage 2 is a waste of money because I've played it a grand total of like 3 times and haven't really come back to it. Because unfortunately it's kind of boring. Now see, the funny thing about this particular boss is you can shoot him and you can kill, well, you can't really kill him this way. You gotta like shoot his little shield thing up there. But when I replayed this for the review that I did, I'd forgotten about that, and so I'm just sitting there shooting, like, why isn't he dying? This is not a bad boss fight. In fact, it's better than a lot of other FPS boss fights, mainly because it actually has a gutty health bar. You know, that's the one thing I don't like about Jedi Knight 1. You don't know how much damage you're doing, and it's not like Jedi Knight 2, where, you know, you can hit an enemy once and kill it. Like, there's a health bar, you have to whittle down. That is the one thing about Jedi Knight 1 that's actually kind of hilarious. Since the animations are so limited, you basically just kind of walk up to like the enemy and just bash him over the head with a lightsaber. I mean, they did the best they could with what they had at the time, but it is kind of funny though. There are of course graphics mods for Jedi Knight 1. I'm going to cover that in the review, but when they're being dramatic, It's like, Saris is the only Dark Jedi that I fear. It's like, Ron, you had to have served in the Clone Wars. Wouldn't General Grievous be a lot scarier than some random blonde chick who looks like she weighs at most? Going on?
Grievous wasn't a Sith Lord. He was just a half-patched together alien who was halfway decent with a lightsaber.
Well, then, you know, it's like, Ron, you served in the Clone Wars. Wouldn't, like, you know, Count Dooku be way scarier?
I'll allow it.
So I'm just saying, but I think, well, General Grievous did kill a lot of Jedi, so...
Yeah, he was good with the lightsaber, but he had no force ability whatsoever.
Which is one of those things where you would think that, like, a more powerful Jedi would be able to just, you know, like, force push him into a wall, but I guess not. Come on, come on. No, this is not going to kill him, though, because he's going to come back to life. Because you got to shoot the little thing up there. Alright, there we go. It's a giant brain! Alright.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Here's the take.
Thank you again. Oh shit. We are almost done killing the Macron. Emmanuel Macron!
There's no need to kill him. He's killed himself.
Stop! Stop! He's already dead! Okay, let's zoom in here and shoot those goddamn repair bots. Save. This is one of those games where it's like I almost don't even want to finish it because, you know, once I beat it, that's it. There's no more Quake games after this.
Well, there are Quake mods.
True, but it's like now it's like that's it though of like like official ones.
Well, some people think Quake 2 is when it all ended, so you know.
And those people definitely need to get their head looked at. I'll check the chat as soon as I've defeated Emmanuel Macron. Never mind. Macron. Come on, shoot.
Nahara's good. I'm a bigger fan of, you know, arcane dimensions and things like that.
Come on, come on. Lose his disco ball and shoot him. Just gotta keep shooting. Goddamn repair bots! I'm trying to destroy you. I'm just trying to. Exactly. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Aw.
So I went to give Outbreak in a Nightmare another try, and yeah.
I told you.
I told you. My $2.
Yes, I told you it's a waste of money. Okay, come on, get him, get him! Aha! We have shut down Steve Jobs' brain.
I like old school survival games.
Or Walt Disney.
Just too janky.
He definitely needed a sequel. And a voice.
Yeah, maybe in an alternate dimension. Maybe in the future.
Oh, how the blood decals just disappeared. That kind of ruined the drama at the moment, but whatever.
It's new future tech. It's like auto cleaning floors.
Oh, and Voyager had. Yeah, maybe I should live stream Voyager next. That is another Raven Software game.
Elite Force 1 or 2.
Both. But probably
Second
just...
one has a co-op mod, I think.
I think I'll just do Elite Force 1, though, because...
Not a bad bit of work.
I don't know if I could do it in 2 episodes, though. Let's see, what is today?
Humble to the end, Strauss. Kane's actions have sent the stroke forces into disarray.
Okay, so I was able to beat this in 2 episodes. That means I've still got 2 weeks until Wolfenstein drops.
They probably wouldn't make a sequel to this, though. They'd probably end up making an actual, like, Quake remake.
It's never gonna happen. I wish we need it. Further continuation of the Quake series outside of Quake Wars and an actual sequel to Quake 1.
But oh well. And so there it is. He has another mission that he will never have to do. It'd be kind of hilarious. It's like after the credits. It's like, yeah, okay, we actually made a mistake. You don't have another mission. You're fired. Just go back to Earth and be a family man.
Find a similar talent like Trent to come back and like do like soundtrack and stuff. If they ever did.
Well, alas, that is Quake 4. The last of the Quake games. Quake Arena, not Quake Arena.
No, there's one more. There's one more. Quake Wars, but there's no real playing through that.
That's true. It's just different maps. You know, I could actually dig that out and do an episode or 2 of that, but I think for the next 2 weeks I will do Elite Force 1. I don't think I'll be able to finish it in that time, but I might as well get one more Raven game done. Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the playthrough of Quake 4, and I am General Lotz.
I'm Radic.
I'm Rage Killer.
And we can wish you good. I'm going to wish you good. Spawn randomly.
Oh, do we have lions here?
Yes, you got to wish people good things.
Good non-spawn camping. Don't spawn camp. I will find you. I will end you.
Good food. Oh, it's not a game.
So, Rage wants to wish everyone a good burger time. Or whatever.
Burger time! Man, there's a game I've played forever.
Whatever makes you happy.